And hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Enter the Matrix, where I will be a sick host. We are missing Typhus currently, but he will be joining us in just a second, probably, as he's messaged us. This time, we have a special guest on our show. Also, I think it's fair to say, welcome to possibly the last episode of Enter the Matrix, because if history is anything to go on, having Nas on usually ends shows. So
Listen,
here
I'm
we fucking are.
consistent.
It's been a good run, to be honest, as we've established. It had to happen one day. So there we are. All
There you
right.
go.
Thank you so much for being here, and we'll be talking, of course, about our Alpine experience. We'll go in depth into some things. We'll probably skip another because I'm not about to go on another 2-hour show with you this beautiful day. So, how have you guys been? What's up? What's been happening in the last 2 weeks since Alpine? Nas,
Uh,
you go first. How
yeah,
is everything
so
going?
I've been waiting for my facial hair to grow back, mostly. It's been really cold on some days. Like I just feel it here. It's gotten better. I still feel it here, just right here, all the way down. No, but it's been good. I've been somewhat prepping for an event, somewhat not, because I've got Oxford next week. Well, this week actually. No, next week. Yeah, it's this weekend. So I've done a couple games for that. Apart from that, just relaxed after a bit. Enjoyed the bragging rights of Alpine as you do. Um,
Fair,
been good.
very
Been good.
fair.
Right.
And as we can see in the episode title, England has actually won a thing, so haven't
There you go.
happened in a while. So there we go. Still on guard, by the way.
Yeah. But Orcs look pretty good. Orcs, there's a lot of guns in there that are pretty good.
If you, oh my god, this motherfucker is gonna about to just play fucking at least like go Tau, right? Don't like what are you doing, man?
Hey, I've played World Eaters for one event. I've done all right.
Hey,
I know what I know the melee thing. Okay, all right.
Which you
I got it.
cheated at.
I didn't
has
cheat. I played by the
oh
rules,
okay
and that's
okay
it.
here we go
I didn't cheat.
already
I
okay okay.
played, listen, I played by the rules. If anything, I like you.
And he's
Well,
literally just lagged out. So
listen, it was for the
tell
greater
us
good.
about the World Eaters. What have you
Um,
done? Have you put like another 8-bone squad into Rhino or something
no, I would never do such a thing. That's not allowed anymore.
anymore? Sure, sure.
I know Anthony's just shaking his head somewhere in the corner. Just
Oh, he's about to fucking watch this and go nuts. All right, Nathan, how have you been? Still on Grey Knights? Maybe back to Death Guard, or maybe Turnits?
No, so actually, I'm not at Oxford this weekend, but I've got a smaller 55-man event closer to home that I'm going to with Josh, and I just finished painting my Death Guard army for today, for the weekend, and I'm trying Death Guard with no Plague Marines. So
Which is
we'll
an
see.
atrocity, by the way. I'll just say
Yeah,
that
that's
out
fair.
loud.
I get it,
psychopath.
but I am using a Soul Grinder, which I know you're a fan
Oh.
of.
It's
So-
Titty Typhus.
Oh.
Hello.
There he
Hello.
is.
You look lovely, Nassim.
I,
You guys should probably tell the story how this whole thing.
No,
happened.
we might also leave it till later.
Sure. Sure. That's fine.
it's been very cold here, by the way, Typhus. It's been very cold.
I think we need to leave the story till it's after 10 p.m. for you guys.
Oh,
This is
great.
not for kids. Anyway,
Christ.
now that I teased it,
Actually,
go back to whatever you were talking about.
yeah, Nathan was talking about his Death Guard army with no Plague Marines, which makes me a little bit sick, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I was playing. Obviously, I used Plague Marines quite a few times, and it's just sometimes I just worry about how much they actually get to trade effectively to some things. So I just wanted to go. Can I do a poor man's Iron Storm and just do a Plague Storm, where it's just like 12 vehicles, and see how that goes.
So
It's
3
not a massive
PPCs,
event.
3 Predators, 3 drones, a grinder, 2 grinders.
Yeah, so I've got 3 PPCs, 3 drones, 1 soul grinder, 2 predators, a carnivore, and 2 brigands.
Oh, sure.
Then Typhus, 2 cultist units, and then 2 Nurgling units.
Cool.
So,
I actually
good
like it.
chaff. Yeah, it should be.
Very straightforward.
Yeah, basically, I messaged the organizer and was like, "Do I need to put my soul grinder on a base?" And he's like, "No, cool, take a soul grinder."
Otherwise, you're not taking this. I'm gonna
Not
fucking
at all.
reiterate that this model does not work on the base, guys.
No, not at all. On a base, it is trash. Without a base, it's pretty decent.
Look, it fucking worked.
Yeah.
It stopped 6 Bullgrin for 3 fucking turns or something.
Yeah, it did.
It really did.
It really
amazing.
did. Yeah, it really did.
Typhus, what have you been up to?
Not 40k, and I loved it.
Literally just fucking came back from Alpine. All right, I'm done with this shit for this year.
I cannot stand losing one event, right? But
Yeah,
no,
that's
I
fucking-
actually spent like last 10 days thinking what was the success story for the English guys. And I think I found the reason.
What the fuck is my cat doing?
And I think the reason why you guys performed so well was that you guys didn't bring Mike Porter.
Wow.
Holy shit. The boys just came in late and
That's
literally
out of-
just started throwing shade all over the
out of
place.
nowhere.
Okay.
Damn.
And that was all I spent last 10 days on. Like nothing else. I was
That's what
just
you
lying
figured out,
thinking
okay.
and thinking how Mike Porter just submarined you.
So it's
on
not like
BTC.
we threw.
Anyway,
They just
Anyway.
weren't better because of their lineup. Okay. That's a good
no. Come on. Please.
Yeah, so
No.
myself, I'm an Eldar player right now, apparently. I have had enough with the elves running this game for a year or like 10 months now, and I am known to nerf armies into the ground whenever I pick them up, so I've decided to play one event with Eldar to finally get rid of them from the meta once and for all. By the way, I'm playing basically I've got a team event coming up. I'm filling in again for someone who wasn't able to come to the event, so I filled in. And Death Guard was already taken, so I'm like, I don't know. I will just pick Manny's army up and like swap a couple things around and play it. It's very good. It's ridiculously good, actually. I cannot play it for shit. Like, no fucking way. I'm actually moving those 20 units around, being precise enough to do it, but it's still fun as fuck.
Skill issue.
Absolutely, bro. I have never played Eldar in my entire life.
Me too.
Never. Not even once. So this is my
Not
first
even
time.
50 word spiders in those really good times. No.
I have not played 7th edition Typhus. I will remind you of that. This is
Anyway.
not something I had an opportunity to play now.
By
And
the way,
otherwise,
about
I'm
the Eldar,
Yeah,
I had like very bad perception of them after the nerf. Maybe because of the sisters goggles, where sisters are really good into Eldar. But goddamn, is that army broken still?
Yeah.
it's fucking ridiculous. Like, I just want, after playing some games with it, it's incredible to me. I put my Rhino 1 inch in like misposition my Rhino by 1 inch playing Death Guard. I'm fucked, brother. I am not reaching the objective. I have problems all over the place. I position most of my army in the right half of it, and it's probably fine with Eldar. Like, the fact that spiders still exist is an atrocity.
I mean, the
They
list goes
are
on.
not a fair unit, and they have never been. Holy.
I love that Hugo still believes this is true. Anyway,
If Necron players still can still believe they will score a point against Anthony Vanilla, the Elder player can still believe Sisters are a good matchup for them. For sure.
and
It's one of those things. The ego of certain factions and players of those set factions are incredible. Also, I'm sick as fuck, if you couldn't tell. So I will try muting myself anytime I get a chance, because I
It's okay.
will be coughing and snoring and whatever.
You are forgiven.
Thank you very much, Nassim. I
You're
appreciate that.
welcome.
All right. On to the actual topic of the episode, I guess. Let's discuss how Team England has done it. Let me. Typhus, would you do that, or I will just share the screen and we will talk? I would like you guys to basically.
Culture.
This is not the event. This is the event I'm coming to. Let's browse the tournament.
By the way,
There we
I
have
would
it.
also
What's
give a caveat that this talk has been done on the England Lions podcast and also on Liam's live stream on YouTube,
Yes,
but
and
probably
I
in a
have
different way. But
I
they
have
had
listened
worse
to it.
English visitors. We have the superior English.
we have the
Podcast.
better part of the team. That is correct.
Absolutely true. The one that we actually wanted to play against.
God.
Jesus, this man cannot. Is it fucking? Nas was supposed to cancel and not you, you fucking dingus.
Yeah, Typhus, stop doing my job. I'm gonna go out of a job. Fuck.
All right.
I mean, with this haircut,
What hair is cut? It's all just.
First,
I've joined the long
Anyway.
tradition of British military commanders.
I will actually first talk about our game path because Anthony and Ines have already talked about their games at least, and what has happened in those. The first round was pretty squeaky clean. We have been grudged by Tryhard Wargaming, and the main problem with that particular games, those set of games, is most of the
Alcohol.
team were alcohol. Like we basically half dead and poisoned and barely alive, especially Anthony.
God.
So that was a difficult task to overcome, but we have managed. My game was kind of interesting against Chris. The gist of it is I went first against the
Swarm.
Exactly, the endless swarm list. The thing about this list and the swarm in general, I don't think Chris has realized that if I just push and completely shove all the rhinos in his face, as he expected me to do, he could surround every single one of those rhinos, and I am never getting out of them, and that is the problem. So what I was doing is probing him for how good he can abuse the whole endless swarm mechanic, and he kind of played very defensively. The most hilarious thing is I did this game. It was probably charged 10 cultists into the Termagants, a squad of 10 Termagants, slapped them, piled into like Exocrine and two Maleceptors and some shit, and blocked his movement entirely from the deployment zone, basically making me the swarm player.
Who's the
But I
swarm now,
couldn't.
bitch?
What I couldn't do is like just full on push ham because I was very cautious about me getting absolutely demolished if I just pushed my rhinos into him straight up. I think that actually ends in a bad way for me. But he was very scared of that. Basically, Typhus, anything about your game?
We both regretted our state, me and Sam. And we had a very early talk that we wished that we would have played this game when we both actually had a brain cell. One
that is
please.
very overrated playing Warhammer in that
I think after 2 turns we both started to be actually playing well, but as you can tell from my later scores, it didn't follow through throughout the whole event. Anyway, so I got the 13-7 into guard. It was like one of the damn games where round 1 I pushed my missionary on the middle objective, and it was super L, so the middle objective was in full open, and he survived there for 5 turns throwing grenades into any sentinels or whatever that was walking around. Because
I think the missionary basically in your games have become exalted by his deeds, because motherfucker will not die. Like,
we can tell the story of missionary throughout the event. Anyway, so not really anything special. I think what is the most important about this round is that somehow Tryhard Romania figured out they should have 3 more points because we were en route to play No Name round 2, and we had the worst matrix into any of the teams into No Name.
That is true. They
I
had
think
no
of the-
Necrons, which
I
was a
think-
problem for our Matrix.
I think we had like out of 25 estimations, we had maybe 3 greens, like 11 orange, and we're like, oh boy, if we get the draw there, that's good. So
And then
yeah,
you had
so,
Fid Liam, like basically anybody, which is already
I
like,
would
a
take
tough
that.
fucking job.
I would take that. I love him. Anyway, so round 2, I think round 2 was the most obnoxious thing that I ever heard during the pairing process. I think.
I know.
Oh
that.
my god, Ines! So the guys approached us and we're like,
Oh,
all right,
Oh.
this is a problem. I don't think we are favorites here. And they joked around like, all right, guys, could you like give us 10 points? And
20,
with
80-20 because we won
80-20 or like
81
90-10,
to 19. They wanted one more point. I try hard.
Yeah. They wanted to jump another try team. And Ines, with the entire power of his autism, goes, no, guys, we want to farm you for the 100. Just straight to, like, no fucking joke, no expression, just straight up to them.
Yeah, we want to farm you for 100.
Basically. And yeah, I fucking fumbled and dropped the ball. I was bullied by entire statcheck Discord for not dropping a 20 with Death Guard on Sisters going second.
Skill issue.
That was can't argue with that ever.
Okay, I wanna at this point shout out my opponent, Plato.
Plato is
I met my match in terms of trolling, and I was beaten on that ground. Like he was better at it. Like the very beginning of our round, he approaches me and is like, "So, in like the heaviest Russian accent, how do you like democracy?" And I'm like, immediately like, what the hell is going on? What's gonna happen? And like the whole game, he was at some point like turning from his good English accent and all of that suddenly into the very hard Russian accent and saying some obnoxious shit. And I couldn't stand it. So my game was very straightforward. I think he made a little bit of trading mistakes, and the game ended basically on turn 3. But what is, I think, important in this game, I went first, and my missionary advanced onto the middle objective, got grenaded, shot by outriders, some scout, gladiator lancer, survived on 1 wound for a pinfall, just want to say. And
average.
the next turn, he shot 10 infernal pistols from Death Company into that missionary and asked me if I want to remove him. And I told him, you know what? You miss every shot you do not take. Just roll those shots. So he hit 9 out of 10, wounded 7, and I passed 7 4-ups, so he had to charge him.
Average, by the way.
No, he died like a sniper. Sorry.
Bro, what the fuck is this model, by the way? He's 30 points, by the way. I
Cancer.
fucking hate,
40.
I fucking hate Sisters with a passion. My game was pretty straightforward. I do go second, so I didn't have the capacity to push. I played the objectives pretty well. It was the spring objectives. The objectives disappeared in a way that kind of was advantageous for me. What else? I have found out very painfully that the profile for the mace weapons on the Paragon Warsuits pretty good into the fucking Soul Grinder, apparently. Because those are 12, 1, 3. And the boy is 11 toughness, 3 up, 4 up.
Mm-hmm.
So after fighting on death, yeah, kind of lines up. Hitting on 3 ups, rerolling, and 2 ups. And then I've got Justin in one. Yeah, pretty good against the boy. Fortunately, it didn't matter too much. But
well, enough to not be a 20, you know.
Exactly. Which, I mean, I found.
Which, by the way, we're en route to because our first 4 scores were 20s. So,
Fuck's sake.
Ines came in 15 minutes after the game started. He was playing against Chaos Knights. And he's like, okay, I've got a 20. 90% of the time here. It's just movements left. It's basically going through motions. Like, I'm gonna play this for the next 3 hours. It's not gonna matter for shit.
I finished a game before time with sisters. I just want to say that out loud.
Nice.
What we have also found out, especially in this matchup and probably the next one, and if players have custodies in their lineup, they are just unable to not defend with it. It's beyond anybody's ability to not first defend custodies if they have the opportunity to do so. This was, I call it the England incident, personally. Although, to be fair, you have attacked, I think, or even worse. No, you have defended. Sorry, you have defended custody. This is
we both know with Nathan.
Basically,
we remember our bets.
This was basically England incident 101. Next one, we play against the Italian team, and that was on stream where Typhus has proven to everybody that the guard matchup is actually not favored because he cannot play
it's
for
still
shit.
favored. It's still favored. Surely. After playing this matchup a few times, and you played guard a few times, we can very confidently say we can pin guard with dev guard and sisters.
Absolutely, 100%.
And it will never happen.
It never fails. Absolutely 0% failure rate. We'll discuss it further. Yeah, so Typhus fucking dropped the ball on stream by playing like a garbage.
I did. If you want to learn how not to play this matchup, by the way,
very good stream to catch. Actually, that is very true. If you misposition units constantly throughout the game, you fuck around and find out. I will also have this story, by the way. Meanwhile, like Anthony is doing his thing with Necrons. Brian is getting shit kicked in by custodies with Kaladis Grave Tanks, and we are like in panic mode because Typhus is fucking losing it. Brian is like over there doing his magic tricks and being like, guys, actually not a 20-0, apparently. Pretty fucking dicey. Like, guys, I have sacrificed myself to T-Sans over here. I'm getting a 6 if I'm lucky. Okay? So everybody is in hardcore push mode. Ines is out there playing the most greedy fucking push of his life when he's trying to clear entire squads of Death Guard with basically matchsticks and fucking loose change he found in his pocket. So he's basically like an 18 on the table, and he's greening for a 20 with the most absurd plays you can imagine.
NS, yeah.
Exactly. Meanwhile, I scam the fuck out of Nicola by wiping Magnus, where I definitely should have not done that with the squad of Plague Marines, but sustains 2 on my objectives, sustains 5's good apparently. So I managed to do that, and I scrambled at 10-10. Typhus, basically we finished the round. Typhus is basically crying on stream right now because his asshole is already so big. It was a wonderful round, by the way.
Yeah. I enjoyed every second of it, and I cannot tell that about every encounter with a man that fists me.
Yeah, that was a wonderful round. I'm so glad that we had that on stream, by the way. Then we play some randos, but we will go through that probably with your explanation of that side. And then we finish up with Team Paul, where everybody is pretty good, but I fucking after getting a 10 into Nas, Skark just fucking
I don't have my glasses on, I can't see. I got my glasses.
Skark proves to me that maybe this matchup is not a 10-10 actually. If Garz goes first and, rolls well on his artillery. But yeah, that basically happened. But fortunately for me, this didn't matter too much. But yeah, Skark actually, I think, has played this matchup a lot. He has also practiced this against me during one of our boot camps that we've had. And I think he played it just straight up way better than me. I think I was tired, and also I think he knew the matchup way better than any guard player, including you, Nassim, sorry. But actually, very well practiced, and he understood the assignment perfectly. And I think in this situation, the guard might have the upper hand, especially when going first. I think going with first Death Guard still throws there. Okay, Anything about your game against Grey Knights? Wasn't that a bad matchup for you, actually, Typhus?
My game against Grey Knight, round 5.
Yeah, against
Uh,
Bloody.
Yeah, I think it should have been like small loss,
Mhm.
but I also outskilled Vladi to a perfection. Um,
With your
so
exorcist.
yeah, so if your exorcist basically one shots and Nemesis Dread Knight,
Yeah,
it's
that's
quite
apparently good.
Or like if you shoot
Kill
your
shit.
spare Hunter Killer missile into you, a librarian with AOC and reroll saves and you kill it, it's also good. And
Ah, yes.
stuff like that. I
I
think
love Warhammer, by the way.
once I rolled less than 4 on Castigator or Exorcist, and that was Castigator in Overwatch. And other than that, I rolled once 4, and everything else was 5 and 6s. I'm not even joking. Like, if you shoot an Exorcist and inflict 7 saves on a Nemesis Dread Knight, you are truly superior Warhammer 40k player.
I love this game. Yes, Warhammer is very difficult game.
Very tough.
100%. Yeah, I will actually mention that when I killed Magnus, I was very delighted that it happened on my fucking table and he died from something that he absolutely shouldn't, because that happened to me at WTC. Also, at Pyra, I scammed Bruce by just fucking blowing away his Mortarian from Overwatch with 10 Plague Marines. What I'm saying is my Plague Marines fuck Primarchs up constantly,
way-
every time.
In game against Vladi, Missionary burned his home objective.
How was the missionary vs the guard?
Sorry?
How was the missionary vs the Italian guard? What did he do there?
Yeah, he got shot by Basilisk and died. Which, to be fair, is fine.
Which is
Yeah,
average.
it's fine. It's fine. It's just still funny.
But now that we have our games covered and we have finished our run with the 4-1 going.
This reminds me, I think he also
after
killed
no
like
game.
4 strike squad guys with grenades whilst burning the objective.
Would you?
Over to first.
Just-
Anyway, he's just
Can we
good.
remove sisters from the game, by the way? But now, as we have 2 of representatives from the winning team,
Maybe let them talk about their matchups as well before we
Exactly.
end up in our specific.
I will definitely would like to hear something about your games and especially your team comp, because I have heard the stories from like Manny and Alex on the English Lion podcast. But for anybody that did not listen to that, what was the general idea behind your team comp, guys?
Do you want to take this, Nathan?
Yeah, I'll give it a go. So, for lack of a better word, it was an absolute clusterfuck until 90 minutes before list submission.
I love
Because
that.
in typical fashion, not so much me, but Manny is the most overthinker in the world. So, even though we had Manchester GT a week, and then the list submission was on the Monday night. So, list submission for the Manchester GT was the week before, and we had a meeting on Discord being like, guys, what do we want to take to thing? We can use Manchester to practice. So I thought I was on NIDS, got my NID army, bought, painted, everything else. I only needed a couple of things. Played a whole weekend with NIDS, and then 90 minutes before list submission, you're playing Grey Knights. I'm like, fuck yeah, great. That's always good. Loved changing to an army I played 0 games with for quite an important event that I could let down the other 4 people on the team.
It's fine.
Great.
We'd blame Manny.
Yeah. It was all Manny's fault. Manny did my whole matrix because we had to do one.
He did. That was so funny to watch.
Manny normally is the person who never does a matrix, but he's somehow got good at
He
doing
did
matrices now.
matrices. Yeah.
He did matrices. But he turned around to us and was like, guys, you all need to do your matrices as soon as possible. And I was like, Manny, just do mine for me because I've not played a single game. The weekend before, I managed to get like 4 reps in to varying success. But
I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, so I think I played 4 games. 1 into Anthony's World Eaters, 1 game into Custodes. Then I played Josh's Necrons and got 20-0'd. And then I played...
What a lovely balanced army that is.
Yep. And then I played Brian's Thousand Suns and got 20-0'd because that actually is a 20-0. So I was like, cool. Thousand Suns are red.
Bad.
So that's the backstory. But yeah, our kind of comp was we were playing around with. We knew Naz was on guard. We knew Josh was on Necrons. We knew Alex was going to be on Ironstorm. With the idea that Ironstorm, still, even with the way that the Alpine tables were and how heavy they were, even compared to, say, some of the WTC tables, they were still going to be our. If you put Ironstorm forward and it gets to choose one or two matchups on its light board, it's still super difficult to deal with. Basically, teams only had two answers to it, which was normally, do they have a very anti-mech Eldar army? And then the other one was almost always Thousand Suns, which Thousand Suns, Alex felt pretty good into Thousand Suns, even on those tables, and beat two of them. And it also pulled Thousand Suns out for the rest of our matrix, because Thousand Suns is kind of the boogie army in 5, because it's awful for my army. It's Naz is pretty, like, guard is decent into it, but it can still be like a draw sometimes. Then you've got it should pump Necrons if they play any way aggressive at all. You basically have to sit there you have to sit there for a 10-10 and go, as long as both of you take assassinate, then you both kind of go, well, Mexican stand off this game for a 10-10. Somebody might get 11 depending on the mission. But if you run at Thousand Suns, they'll take your army off the table. So, yeah.
That's fair.
So, Thousand Suns was always a tricky one. We wanted Manny's list to be, if it can play mech, it will smash mech, just in case we do have like an Ironstorm issue that somebody puts forward. But then again, because it's got 20-something units and it's all MSU, it can still play the game, even though it's not necessarily the best at holding primary. It's still good at denying primary. And the mission pack was very kind of board control dominated.
Yeah, it was very primary heavy. You could score a lot of points of just primary in this one.
Yes, yeah. So we were kind of looking at it from that perspective, where we had answers to say if somebody put an Ironstorm forward. We had answers for quite a lot of the more popular armies, shall we say. And it also kind of just suited what we all were able to play as players. Like, pretty much everybody was. Manny had played a load of Valor games. It was just me, maybe, on the Grey Knights who had to get some last-minute reps in. But
do you think you guys had an army that after this submission you realized that you maybe did not have it covered? That surprised you?
We didn't really have a cover for Thousand Suns, but we kind of knew that people would maybe have to use Thousand Suns to deal with Ironstorm. And that kind of just worked out in our way. And then I think Manny played 2,000 Suns as well, getting 9 and 20, but that was just one of those Manny games.
The Thousand Suns pushed when they shouldn't have pushed.
Yeah,
I have heard that story. I have heard the story of Thousand Suns teleporting first turn into Eldar deployments with the crystal. I don't think that's optimal necessarily.
No, it's too aggressive. But yeah, I think that's kind of where we got to. In hindsight, I think Manny in the end maybe did want to take Thousand Suns because he just went to Home Nations.
100,
scored
by the way.
100.
He scored the fucking 100, right? Did Liam also score 100 there with these?
No, 95.
95.
Fucking dropped 5 points. What a scrub. Holy.
No.
Officially washed.
Yeah.
Jesus
To Eldar of all things. But yeah, that's kind of where we got to with comp. Yeah, I guess we'll go through our games.
Very interesting. I personally, after playing you guys and after doing our Matrix, I think you just had better choices of armies. Our Matrix was fucking rough against you, honestly. Yeah. It was very.
We had faction specialists on armies that just didn't line up.
Exactly. I think especially after Alpine and pre-Alpine also, but Death Guard have just. It was still a decent army to blunt a lot of things, I have basically gone undefeated until the last game and planted a lot of shit, but I didn't really have any greens with Death Guard anymore. And because like orcs have fallen out, World Eaters were not particularly popular. I think I still have pretty good game against Blood Angels, although Ines disagrees. I still disagree with him. But there wasn't actually a lot of meta melee armies that were trying to push for high scores. And anything else, like Sisters were not also a popular choice, and I think that's a very decent matchup for Death Guard. But other than that, you're mostly blunting things instead of actually wanting to play them for an actual high score, right? So I think Death Guard was a choice that was basically dictated by me having like 50 or 60 games with it and being very comfortable and not really willing to switch to an army like 2 weeks or maybe even less than that before the event.
I think Sisters also to some extent weren't as good in fives. Like they were decent for our team, I think. All in all, like I got Josh treatment, but otherwise it was okay. But
Yeah,
I think one. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to say is that I think the meta shifted. In fives, you expected everyone to have Necrons, which is like obvious. But the fact that meta shifted so much into also having Guard, Iron Storm, and Grey Knights,
Daka.
which is kind of problematic for Sisters. If I get any of those matchups on my board, I should be fine. But the premise with our team was that I probably won't have a board.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly it drops. And I think this is a point where you could make an argument that Sisters get way better in eights
Oh,
than in
definitely.
fives. And also I think the problems with the terrain choices that we spoke in previous episode were even more visible when we actually went to the event. Like the fact that sometimes winning the first table roll was very important. But I think
we will get to the bottom of that. Yes, definitely, because I want to discuss it further. All right, boys, tell us about your games. First round, you have been grudged, actually,
We
right?
have been grudged by the fans of England and Glasshammer. So funny story here. So the Votan player picks Manny to play, and then what the Votan player does is he gets his Glasshammer dice out, his Glasshammer tray out, his basically Glasshammer merch out, and tells Manny, "I'm a huge fan." And what does he do? Turn one, he moves forward with his Sagittars, and then it's Manny's turn. It's Manny's turn, and he lines up his Scourges, and then Manny's like, "I'm gonna shoot my Scourges," and then the guy's like, "Oh, what did they do?"
Oh my god!
Yeah, and so Manny was
Oh
like,
my Jesus
"Oh."
Christ!
So Manny was like, "Oh, no, this is what they do." Do you want to read
This
your
is
movement?
Haywire, all Haywire Scourges.
Yes, he's like, "Do you want to read your movement?" And the guy was like, "No, they're all lovely by the way." The guy was like, "No, the objectives are here. I need to be here anyways." And Manny's like, "Okay." So it's 5 Sagittars and 4 of the contents inside of the Sagittars turn 1. It was like,
And a 6-man bike unit.
and it's just
Jesus fucking Christ.
flatline.
your turn.
You
Clock on you.
Turn 2. Please play with your 7 models.
hard
was-
fucking oof.
That was funny. The great lads, though. My game against the Grey Knights. So he had one. So he had. God, what did he have? 3 Dread Knights in total. One of the character ones and 2 of the regular ones.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you. Am I right?
Marine, a Grandmaster, one NDK Grandmaster, Kaldor, Big Ball of Thermes, 2 Strike Swords, Big Ball of Paladins, and 2 Dread Knights.
So I end up going first. And
apparently pretty good.
Yeah, apparently pretty good. And he left both his Terminator bricks on the board, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to try and kill the Terminator brick. I'm going to try and go after the Paladin brick in a second. So turn 1, I pick up a what's it called? One of the Nemesis Dreadnoughts because I had Bring It Down, and I kill like 3 Paladins, with like 1 Manticore, as you do, and it's pretty good. And then after that, he's turn 2 hits redeploys, hits a massive charge, gets into an objective, kills a scout sentinel, and I'm like, okay, annoying. Okay, I still get a 15. It's fine. And then my cards were like overwhelming force, and I can't remember like something else that was kill, and I was like, all right. One manticle shoots paladin squad, 7 dead. I was like,
Jesus.
pretty good.
What
I was like,
the fuck?
extra AP. I spot you. I'm hitting on 2s. And the match on the wound is like, I'm just gonna hit on 2s. I'm just gonna fish for lethals. Pretty good. His by the way, my indirect hit didn't roll less than like a 500 dice for shots. It was heaven. It was great. So paladins evaporated. The Terminators, I think there were like 2 left. And I killed another Nemesis Dread Knight. The tank commander shot Nemesis Dread Knight, just like picked it up with like just a demo cannon. I didn't have to shoot anything else. Hunter killer wasted. Inefficient. So that spiraled out really quickly because they're not good at killing Bulgren either. And there was just Bulgren circling the objective, can't finish deep strike, can't finish deep strike, can't finish deep strike. And just 30 Kasakin in his backfield being like, no primary.
Mhm.
So that was pretty good. And that was kind of all she wrote.
Yep. Any notes on your game against Necrons? What was that? By the
Yeah,
way?
so it's Valentin's list.
Oh, okay. Point for points,
So-
right? Yeah.
So I played this the Monday before against Josh, and he 20-0'd me on the exact same table that we ended up playing on. So I was like, okay, I know what not to do. That's a good start. Actually, importantly, I got to go first, which is what I really needed to do, because going second meant that he could take up too much board control. So it allowed me to actually, if he then pushes into me, it allows all my Dread Knights to actually move, shoot, and charge. Whereas previously, because of the terrain for that particular table, there was very, very good staging points for him. So then because I got to go first, it kind of meant that he couldn't push too much, which then meant I just sneaked ahead on cards. I was able to drop some of his points for primary. Although I do have to say, and I know everybody hates Satans, but I shot 5 Dread Knights, a Land Raider Redeemer, through grenades, tank shocked, and charged 2 Grandmasters, and I didn't kill the Void Dragon until the second Grandmaster attacked him. I hate those fucking things.
Skill issue.
Yo,
it was
those are apparently pretty
infuriating.
good.
Yeah, but it was just
it's
just
still
more. I
crazy.
Is
was
it
able to
considered
pick up
having
stuff.
Arcos? I think Arcos could be good.
Yeah,
I think they can.
apparently.
Yeah. But yeah.
Fair argument.
managed to come away with the 14. It's again, he didn't play the game badly. He was actually a good player. He maybe played a little bit too defensively at some points, whereas he maybe could have shunted a bit more. But it's such a statcheck army that it just is what it is. Like it's very difficult to interact with on certain tables.
I think I'm gonna go here out on a limb and say I think playing against this kind of grenade list that you run is actually very difficult if you have not been like prepped into it. I think it has answers and it can be done by many armies, but you need to know exactly what to do, I think. Would you agree with that?
As in, I need to know exactly what to do into the.
No, as in your opponent needs to know exactly how to
Sure.
play into that.
Yeah,
And
it's
if they fuck up or like fuck around, they will find out very quickly.
Yeah, the damage output is very deceptively high when you
Yeah.
can, if somebody accidentally leaves something kind of stray, and you can go, I'm going to shoot you with a Land Raider. I can maybe shoot you with another Land Raider, and then I'm going to redeploy all 5 Dread Knights effectively, because usually 2 are on that kind of side, and go, I'm going to put basically all of my army into that specific thing, pump it, then you can't retaliate, and then I can go do that to something else you've left over. Then you kind of have to accept that you might give up the early game sometimes. Or my favorite thing, because you've got 3 Redeemers, it's a bit plonk a Redeemer on something. Can people actually go with AOC? I really have to overcommit.
Mm-hmm.
And
After
when
eating an Overwatch, usually.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so it's a little bit more difficult to Overwatch. I didn't actually get to Overwatch as much as I thought I would because the terrain's quite difficult. But it was one of those, you have to put a lot to kill a Land Raider on an objective. So it usually means I get to trade up, which was a fair trade for me.
Yep.
So yeah, Redeemers go burn.
Cool, yo. Back to our scheduled programming. You play Baston next. The team with some of the French representatives for WTC, including Zika, from what I'm saying, who is this year's team French captain.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting in that game, especially Nassim.
Yeah, no, that was a very good game. So, what you found up happening is essentially, I went, which is nice for momentum pushing up the board, but not actually good for primary too much. But I ended up going first, which was okay. The way the objectives disappeared was a little bit annoying, but still manageable. So I go first. God, what do I kill? I don't actually remember what I killed. I don't think I kill much. I think turn one I kill like a squad of warp spiders and half another squad of warp spiders. Nothing too crazy, you know. And he hits me back. Or because the last objective to disappear was the middle one, which was quite annoying because there was like an avatar like right there, like a minus one wound. That can just overwatch anything, the tank commander, which we'll get onto very soon. And so I push up my Bullgrins on both
Ooh,
flanks.
foreshadowing.
Yeah. My Bullgrins push up the flank with some Catachans. And I'm just to force him to shoot and interact with them. Otherwise I get a 10. Which I did get. I just remember that. Yeah, so to get a 10. So what he ends up doing, which is a bit of a mistake, he basically moves Fuegan and his auto, which are on the same side, to kill the 10 cat chance to try and deny it. Doesn't really work out. He kills them, but I had Freed Wogan on the objective, and he gets overwhelming. But then it meant that I was able to kill both of them with those 6 Bulgren, and he has no gems. All of a sudden, hey, very easy to kill later on. And then he shoots a lot of stuff and kills 3 Bulgren on another objective. And I was like, okay, you can't have that. So my turn to clap back after he does that was quite good. I killed. What did I kill? I killed all the Shadow Spectres. I killed 5 Dark Reapers. I killed 5 Hawks. I killed 4 Spiders. No, I don't think. No, I killed like 2 spiders. So a lot of stuff. But then I come to find out this list has a lot more stuff. So I was feeling pretty good. It was a pretty good turn, and he hits me back. Does a decent amount of damage. I was a little bit too aggressive with my Kassakin, so I end up losing quite a few of them that turn. I think like he managed to exactly get some to the wound, which was which was a bit annoying. And then it was at this turn where Manny comes over to me and is like, well, the first thing that happens is that Zeka goes over to the stream table, comes back to me, is like, cool, I just had to check if I had to do something stupid. I don't have to. And I was just thinking, wait a second, that doesn't sound good for me. And then Manny, 2 minutes later, comes to me, is like, Naz, what are you on track for? I'm just like, 13, maybe a 14. Really is good. He's like, cool, that's not enough. He comes to me, he says, Alex just lost 6 tanks in 1 turn. He's going into his 3, and I'm just like, he has 11 tanks. He's under half the tanks. That's not good. So I'm like, he says just push like a retard. I'm like, got it. What I do?
My specialty.
I was like, let's go. I was like, if this works out, it's nice. It doesn't. And so I'm like, all right, this tank commander is more supporting, controlling angles. Like, you know what? There's an avatar in the middle objective right there. And there's 3 D cannons right behind him. And a Farseer. And some other stuff. And I'm like, all right, I'll do it. I will use one of my orders to give him +1 ballista skill. Drive him forward in front of the avatar. Bait an Overwatch. Hope I die. shoot some D cannons, kill some D cannons, kill that Farseer because I had assassinate, and basically kill a D cannon or maybe 2 D cannons and a Farseer, and it's happy days. So I move him there. What does he do? Max shots again with his avatar. By the way, his avatar the entire game didn't roll under max shots. He rolled max shots every time, which was
Look
great.
at the guard playing complaining about somebody rolling max shots with these random shots pieces, right?
It's not
What
random.
the fuck?
Get out of here. And so I'm feeling good. I was like, oh, the tank commander died. I was like, yes, exactly the plan. He's dead. There's a shit on death. No, I was like,
Of
I
course.
was like,
Of course.
I was thinking, great. So there's like just these 3 D cannons just staring at me. Just 3 D cannons.
Tiny little bit of a problem.
Yeah. The worst part is like the D cannons were also within 12 of the Farseer, and I was looking at his stats. I was like, yeah, even with extra AP, he has like an auto save. I was like, oh. I was like, what else can I hit them with? I was like, just manticores. just raw dogging manticores. I was like, all right, well, I need to kill at least 2 here to somewhat push him back a bit. Because right now that Farseer is not dying. I'm not killing all 3D cannons this turn. And I'm sure as hell I'm not contesting that middle objective anymore. So what happens is I get 1 D cannon because the other one survived, and I kill like my Bulgren charge 5 Hawks and kill 3. 6
Average?
6. Well, sorry, 4 Bulgren swinging, which was
Average.
It was great because that guy then falls back, contests an objective and grenades. Solid, love it. Yeah, and then those 2D cannons end up killing quite a bit, and I'm just like, right, this went from like a 13, 14 to maybe like I'm gonna get an 8 or 9 here. This is like it's not gone well. But then Leontis does Leontis things, and is his squad. He goes 15 inches and like charges an objective, denies at a point, like kills like 2 characters in combat. Is strength 7, AP 3 on the charge because Katachan's, and ends up pushing back a little bit. So I end up getting an 11, which was
fortunately enough.
Yeah, I was like, because then Manny comes back and says, "Oh, Naz, push gone well, but it's fine because Alex got a 12." And I'm just like, "Great, cheers." It's like all this. I was like,
I mean, that was also me versus fucking like me against T-Sense. I think was similar to Alex, where it's like I'm getting 6, maybe a 5. I'm getting fucked here over here. Okay, it's a draw.
Okay, yeah,
cool. Yeah,
great.
we cool.
Yeah, but that was a great game. That was really fun. I do not like Eldar. I wish I had a Basilisk. That'd be great.
Didn't you think that also throughout the whole tournament? Because what I'm saying is, Basilisks are pretty fucking good.
I know. It's fine though. It's fine because I've got to go at the end.
Copium.
Inhaling that deep.
Nathan, what about the Sisters games? I think this one we agreed, at least you and Typhus agreed, that this is a very unfavorable matchup with the Redeemers because those are a fucking nightmare for Sisters.
Yeah, so I have this down at like 12 to 13 in Matrix because I don't get to pick the table. Alpine tables are difficult. What this ended up being was I got last turn. The objective closest to him disappeared first. The objective in the middle disappeared second. And the 15-point objective was mine in the left corner with a massive
issue.
Yeah, 9-inch ruin.
I hate this mission, by the way.
Yeah, it's such a dumb mission. So even my opponent was just like, okay. So I already know
By
at this
the way,
point.
Tanker is also very lovely.
Yeah, he's
lovely guy, really good player. It was just one of those. The way the terrain was for actually quite a lot of the tables were the Land Raiders can't push forward. They can't get really past like the middle line, but they can normally, with the terrain, just like tow the objective for 5 OC and then usually just burn anything that comes near it. So that's basically just all I did. I just plonked Land Raiders on terrain pieces, and then just his sisters, find them difficult to deal with. He had Vol with the multi-melter suits. They came on, killed a Dread Knight, and then they ate 2 Redeemers to the face and fell over pretty easily.
Average.
It's kind of is what it is.
No Exorcist?
No,
I think me and Kruger are the only ones playing solo Exo.
one would have been
No
nice.
Catherine as well.
No, Catherine.
No Celestine. And the fucking Harlequin with like the girl with the twink.
But
Yeah.
No Palatine.
this
Damn.
beats Necrons.
No, this bit Valentin.
Look, this beats some Necron players. That's
Sometimes.
definitely true. I'm not going to say names over here. Okay.
Listen, what I'm gonna say is that if Typhus had this, maybe.
Surely.
Surely. For sure.
Statistically.
100%.
Statistically, numbers wise,
He
maybe
had a-
lower, maybe higher. But
is
we'll
true.
never know now. We'll never know.
I don't
We'll
think I
never
could
find
go
out.
much lower, by the way. Like, there was not much space left for that
That's
move.
fucking true. Very much the case.
I will
Okay.
also say that I got kind of lucky on cards a little bit. I'd have got 40 anyway, but there was just certain situations where he moved one sister's squad forward to, I can't remember why, but it was just like the next turn I got capture enemy outpost. I was like 3-inch deep striker Dread Knight and shoot the 5 sisters off the objective. Just things like that was just like I got like a 13. I got like a 10, and a 13-point turn, and it was just like, okay, it's one of those card games. And then all the turn was perfect for me. So yeah, it ended up being 16.
All right. Next up, you go against Suzvan, guys who I think defeated one of the German teams previously.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
beat the German team actually.
The bit of the main choose.
The German team, nice.
Yeah.
I have heard about Alex's game against the T-Suns. I have heard about the Manny's game against the Crons. By the way, this score is just batshit crazy. to
I
me.
just want to point out
I
one
just want to
thing.
say
The
that
guy
I
who's-
cannot imagine this Eldaria is scoring a 19 into this type of Necron list.
I mean, this
Scroll
was
down.
Doomsday Art
Keep
list.
scrolling. Yeah, I was going to say just.
Doomsday's Arc sure help, but still, holy.
On Monolith,
200
on
points
quarters,
each?
I can see that.
Remember, it's all haywire. These 1,000 points in vehicles.
It's also when you see Manny roll haywires. So, for example, I killed the Void Dragon, like I said in the first game, with basically 1,500 points of my army. Manny did it with probably less than 300, where he literally shot, I think, 2 Scourge units and a D cannon and killed a
Killed it.
Void Dragon.
Yes. The first squad rolled 5 6s to wound and did 10 mortal wounds, and he made 1
Yeah.
5 up for no pain. So he just took
Yeah.
9 damage from a squad of Scourges.
Yeah.
Again, skill issue. Just roll good.
Excuse
Manny
me, what
passes.
the fuck?
Yeah. Manny,
Man, those
actually-
haywires, if they just roll 6s, holy shit, that weapon is very good.
Yeah. To the point where, because Manny was swapped all of his Dark Lances to Haywires, and we're like, does that make you weaker into certain things? But he's like, actually, to be honest, most of the time, if you roll like 2 6s, that's more than a Dark Lance is going to do most of
What
the
do you
time.
mean if you just roll 2 6s? It's so fucking, like, bro.
It's Manny. Manny's
It's 8
genuinely.
shots hitting on the 4s. What the fuck do you mean? What
With
do
a
you mean?
reroll. There's an Eldar reroll.
Oh my
Another
god,
reroll.
it really doesn't matter.
But double the shots. It's not 1 shot, it's
If
2.
you just roll 2 6s, what the fuck are we talking about?
Manny is distinctly average. He just rolls better than everybody else in the game. That's all it is. I'm saying that here.
Holy.
Oh, no.
I guess, oh my god, what a take. Okay, Nas, you against the Eldar, this time way better. This is very similar,
Scroll down.
right?
No, scroll down. Scroll down. Keep scrolling. There you go.
Yeah, okay. never mind. I have no further questions. I don't want to hear anything else about
No,
this.
it
Because
gets better. Oh,
I know exactly what happens here, and I
it gets
have
way
had
better.
enough of guards fucking. Oh yeah, I went first. You know,
No,
six
no, I went
shots,
second. I went
manticores,
second.
blank,
He had his
blank,
buff.
blank.
I went second. He had his buffs up. All right, this was
Oh
great.
yeah, okay, that
So
surely helped.
we'll get there in a second. So I deployed decently aggressively with one of my manticores just so he could get ordered by a tank commander. Blah blah blah. Doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter because I'm good at rolling saves. So basically, what happened is he goes first. Rangers you are used to pin me, like pin some booger into my DZ, score homers. Then he also had cleanse, and instead of just getting a 3 on cleanse, he went for the 5 on cleanse and moved warp spiders to move block me. Ish, not really ish. To so he could get a 10 on his primary, so I don't get over to it. And he's got -1 to win up on his Wraith Blade. So I was like, all right, cool. Bit annoying. So I killed the spiders with like a tank commander and some other stuff. Kill the Rangers, the Borg, and charge in. I shoot my 3 manticores at his Wraith Blade with -1 to wound and kill 7. So that was my turn 1. And I score. And I was like, I'm going to kill all your characters multiple times over. So I went fixed. I was like, sprain, off, shoot, on, which was pretty good. So he had like, after he regrew a Wraith Blade, he had 4 Wraith Blades. They charged the Bulgur to keep them tagged up. He proceeds to kill 0. And some 3D cannons come in to 2 of which could shoot a Manticore and doesn't kill it because, like I said, I'm good at running saves. I had to roll 6 up for the. So he rolled one shot. He rolled one shot of the first one. Rolled like winded me, and did it went through. He was like, I'm just going to do max damage because so the next one kills him. Like fair. And then the other one does 1 wound. I'm like, oh, I need to hit a 6 here, whereas it dies. But I was fine with the Manticore dying then because I wanted to bring out his D cannon so that I could shoot them with a tank commander next turn or charge them. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I need to roll 6, just pick up one of his dice, throw it. I was like, oh, is that symbol 6? He's like, yeah. I'm like, great. So nothing else can shoot this Manticore. He's like, nah. I'm like, nice, solid. So my next turn proceeds. He moved blocked me again with some specters, which was fine. And then what he had like those 4 Wraith Blades. And he failed the -1 to wound hit, which was quite funny. So the tank commander just picked those up because I was even dealt with the specters. I charged the specters and killed the specters. And the indirect is free to shoot wherever it wants. So I killed like 2 D cannons, or D cannon and a half, 2 D cannons. Can't remember. And then this is where he's going into his free, and he's like, I'm never going to hold this point again, am I? I'm just like, no. He's like, you're going to get to my DZ in a turn. I was like, yes. He's like, okay, I want a gambit. I'm like, excuse me? I was like, wait, how the fuck does a gambit even fucking work? I was like, so you just hear me halfway through the round, and I know because I think Alex looks at me like, what happened? I'm just like Judge. It's like, and Jake comes up and is like, oh, what happened? It was like, what's the gambit? I don't know how it works. It's like, I was like, which at the time actually was actually the right thing to do because if he didn't gambit, he would have gotten 2 more points. But if that gambit paid off, I was sweating because he rolled the first 6, and I was like, not like this because he was at that point on 20 primary. He was never going to break 25 or maybe 30 primary. Just to foreshadow the game, all that he had left alive was like 3 hawks in the corner and like the 2 characters and like an avatar, but yeah, I just ignore the avatar. So that's all that was left alive. Like he literally ran his entire army into his corner and being like, I'm gonna have a unit here, and then the warp spiders that are hidden behind this wall that you currently have 14 direct are gonna go 24 this corner. So I've got these 2 corners because I screened that like the rest of the entire board is like screened. Like I for 1 turn 4 gold, given my Manticore's plus hit because I was like, everyone's getting +3 move right now and just advanced forward like 10-3. Like everyone just ran towards his DZ. So he didn't get the gambit off. He played it well, but yeah, he was dead.
This story about playing against guards, especially in the last round. Yeah, so basically, by the turn 4, I was pretty much dead. That army is fair and balanced, and I love it.
It is.
Which reminds me, I actually have one point to say about my stream game, which was recorded on the stream that I'm really happy about. I told my opponent that I will move this Rhino and shoot this 100 killer into that one Medusa Courage battery. And I will roll a 6 on the damage on that Hunter killer and just kill you. So after hitting and wounding, I told him, watch me. Right nipple, left ball, natural 6. And I just fucking did it on the stream. I was
It
so
always
proud of
happens.
myself. Only thing I could be proud of myself in that game, but at least there was something.
Hey, hey.
Hey, don't say that. No, it's fine.
All right, Nathan, you got wrecked by some studies.
Yeah, this was a sometimes when you
Triple
take an
guard.
army,
Holy shit.
sometimes when you play an army with 15 models and you cannot roll a save, things start to go downhill a little bit. For example, I had to go first, which just generally sucks, especially because this is the score 15 at the end. Mm-hmm. So I have this down as kind of like a 12 in my matrix. But with him getting last turn and board choice, it's a little bit more like 10, maybe 11, because he can just basically kind of pseudo just get 15. He can kill some vehicles for fixed, and then he's going to get most of his primary points. What ended up happening is I put kind of stuff on the objectives to then bait him out. So like a lone op on one objective, then a land raider on another objective, and he basically shunts pretty much all of his army at me turn one. And I'm like, okay, I can put this game away with my turn back. Mm-hmm. That didn't happen. My return whiffed. Let's just put it that way. I think I still put down.
So what you're saying,
squad.
you got stacked checked by a Custodes army.
A little bit. I still put a unit.
Got stat check. The stat check list got stat check. That's just like karma.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it was a little bit. I still put a unit and a half down, which is not awful against Custodes. I thought I would have put 2 and a bit down, but wasn't the case. Then what actually ended up happening was like 4 guard with Draxus killed a whole Land Raider with AOC.
In shooting.
No. In combat.
I was just ready to like fucking just Draxus plonk him in.
So yeah, he did a couple of wounds with shooting, and then he charged me, and
then he
died. Also didn't have +1 to wound.
Yeah, of course.
And he still killed a whole Land Raider, which effectively, if he doesn't do much to that Land Raider at all, then it gets to shoot, and I get to do stuff to it. So basically, I've lost a Land Raider for nothing, when actually that would have taken down most of a guard squad, because I then had stuff to deal with that unit.
Yeah.
So
what you're saying is they were wounding on 6s.
5s.
5 is strength 7.
7. Yeah. Full rerolls.
With AOC.
Yeah.
3 ups, mate. It's fine.
Yeah.
Again, it's a skill issue on Nathan's part. He should have paid for that Glasshammer coaching.
Yes.
That is very true.
Not that we sponsor Glasshammer. Other providers are available.
Oh, fucking one.
So, yes, unfortunately, it was one of those. It was just, I failed the stat check. It happened. This is the one I was maybe disappointed. The only mistake I maybe made was I actually vected, because he had Bring It Down. I actually vected, because he shunted his whole army and he used it first, so I could stop him doing it twice. Was I actually vected the -1 to wound rather than the -1 damage, which is a bit of a toss-up. Because he has Bring It Down, I thought if I can kill his offensive output, maybe I can then actually do more damage, because he's actually killing less. And then he actually scores less. So that was the idea. In the end, maybe actually vecting the -1 damage. Because he shunted so much of his army, I know he was going to go a -1 damage, and then he could do it for free on another unit. So I was like, he's come out with everything. He's going to do the -1 damage in the turn that he needs to really do the -1 damage anyway. So I might as well try and curb the damage output, which is the idea. So I don't know if that was a mistake. Possibly it was. The -1 damage didn't really come back to haunt me later on that much. So yeah, it's one of those. Very, very good player. Lovely, lovely dude. One of the nicest guys I played at the weekend. Yeah. But yeah, unfortunately, that was
Fair.
the biggest loss I think our team had at the event.
Nice.
Luckily, we
Still a crazy score. And then we played the fourth round after eating 100 or something McNuggets between the statcheck team. And probably
35.
another
35 bitches.
and then another 100 between your team, because we were at the same fucking McDonald's this evening, by the way. Because half of the event was at the McDonald's.
You mean the only place that was open for food? Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Precisely.
My God, this will be so bad for WTC.
Yes.
It's gonna be a problem. But I
You
think
need to book tables at McDonald's, basically.
Mate,
because
I'm gonna go with like
No,
Blaine
what I
as
think-
a cook in 25.
yeah, we need a cook, or we need. Actually, I'm gonna be honest. I think Ines has founded this idea. I think legitimately, because the WTC is so big and it's like 500 people, like between the teams, not only the players. I think you can legitimately go to, like, the organizers can just ask some of the bars and pubs to stay open, because they will earn a shitload of money during that weekend. Like, I think it's legitimately an option.
Yeah.
It could improve
That's like
things.
the population of the town, I think, in Leoben as well. That helps.
Wouldn't be far off.
I mean, the mayor of Liban actually went to give a speech.
I know.
I
That
don't
was really
remember
funny.
it because we went in a state to hear much, but
Look, I was looking for fucking water for Anthony to drink, and some food for him to swallow, and basically I was trying to keep him alive by this point. So there was a speech.
Clearly, he plays better when he's like.
That was my thank you.
It's
Thank
like-
you, Nas.
He's
'Cause
like completely fucked up. Gets
by
60,
the
that's the
first,
point.
by the end of the first day, Anthony, barely alive, absolutely poisoned, scores a perfect 60.
Yeah.
No problem whatsoever. The moment he just refuses to drink with us, like Saturday evening, what the fuck happens? He loses the game instantly. It's just facts. Anthony is better when he's fucked up.
Exactly. I think that's just the American trying to be stabilized, which clearly just doesn't work. He needs to embrace the European way of you get there and you're there, but you're not there.
I think arguably the best player in the world right now is Liam VSL, and I don't think I can recall him playing sober.
I think
Very
Liam,
rarely. Very rarely.
was pretty sober at Alpine, which I was devastated to see, because he has been to at least five Polish events now, maybe 4 or 5 Polish events. And that boy is very good at Warhammer while not being sober. I'm gonna be like fucking honest with you. I think I prefer him sober, just like by having chances his opponents have definitely better chances to win when he is sober. Okay, but to
Anyway.
the actual topic. All right, so our perspective, I think we have discussed this extensively after the fact, after we have lost. I think we fumbled the pairings mostly, and it's like I think our beginning was pretty good, even though it didn't line up with your expectations. I think the opening was good. I think not defending with Typhus and letting Josh just fucking run through Typhus was our biggest mistake.
So there was
To be fair, he didn't run through me. He jogged at a leisurely pace, and I died.
That's fucking fair, okay?
he
Josh
walked
does
forward.
nothing quickly.
Oh no! I was spinning him up. Please, man, your team needs you to table me. Can you fucking do it in this 1 hour? Like,
Yeah.
I will move your models, please.
Josh needs the full 4 hours at the ETC.
Look, he paid
against
for
Clark.
4 hours of fucking you up. He paid, like, he will use that 4 hours of fucking you
Yeah,
up.
he paid for that time. He wants to make sure that he enjoys it. You know.
Absolutely. I especially because we will discuss my game with Nassim like together, but I would like to hear what happened in the game against Ines, because I think there was a moment during that round when Manny was just running through the tables, and he's checking on Nassim. I'm basically in the middle of the board. I went first, which is great. I'm in the middle of the board. Nassim is plonking the stuff, and I'm like, yeah, stuff keeps dying. I know how this goes. I will just remove models slowly, but probably it ends up around the 10, right? Cool. And I think Manny is like in pretty you are losing mode at one point, because I think Ines was doing fairly well by this time, and like I don't necessarily know how Nas's game is going by sorry, not Nas's but Manny's game is going by that time, but I think Brian also from our talks was pretty like on pace to a 13, maybe a 12 by this point. So I think the biggest flip during games like happened somewhere there, right?
Yeah. So the way mine and Innes' game went was a little bit. It is a bit on the knife's edge. If I get to pick a table and I get to pick one of those Alpine tables, I actually think I win that game most times, because the two objectives are in the open. It's just, yeah, and the Lancers don't get to do that much. He can't hold the primaries that well, and I think I just eventually win the late game. How it was actually he got to pick the table because obviously he was first put forward. What ended up happening is there was basically Innes went for his go turn. Two kind of little things happened. He failed a 5-inch charge, which meant he had to use a CP reroll to get the charge off, which meant one of his units couldn't use Lance, which was quite big. So basically, Manny came over to me just as Innes was going to do that turn, where I know I missed one of my Dread Knights away, but as long as he gets a decent charge on one of his units, he's definitely charging 2 Land Raiders, 1 Dread Knight, and then if he gets a decent charge, he's charging 2 Dread Knights. So effectively, if he kills both Land Raiders and both Dread Knights, it's difficult. It'll be difficult for me to come back from that. I didn't think that was going to be the case. He didn't really have a lot, because on the, say, left-hand flank, I decided to because I know he has less on that side, I was able to overwatch the squad that's with the Hammer Captain, so actually he loses the rerolls to wound, because I've been able to kill the 5-man squad pretty easily with a Land Raider overwatching. So actually I'm like, you know what? I'm actually pretty safe on that side. So what ends up happening is, obviously, Rapid Ingress is in the big jump unit. They charge a Dread Knight moving towards my home objective. I'm able to plonk 2 Land Raiders on those 2 side objectives, because I should say this is the
this is the Hammer and Anvil Vital Grounds, right?
Vital Ground, which is crazy mission.
Yeah, this is just the most insane out of the whole packet.
This
is just the fucking
you play into
Hammer and Anvil deployment.
Yeah.
And there's no middle objective. Like
This
the table
mission-
me and fucking Nassim played is one of the most fucking insane tables you can find in any.
I was like, oh, there's 20 Plague Marines on these 2 objectives. I bet Pumba's trying really hard to figure out how to keep those alive. Get them. Fuck off.
Fucking,
Yeah.
there you go. There's a lot of shit in that list. You fucking deal with those.
Yeah. So this mission is a bit crazy. So this particular game ends up being a little bit more. That turn where he pot commits, he kills one of the Land Raiders, kills one of the Dread Knights, but he takes 7 wounds off the other Dread Knight and like 5 wounds off the Land Raider. So I know I know then that left-hand side where he's only got the captain in, and I think it's just captain and Sanguinor charging that Land Raider. That side is now dead because effectively I then burned the commander in my next turn of shooting. So it's just Sanguinor now. So if I have to, I can just AOC that side. Fine. So that's now my 5 point. That's my objective because I was able to get Dread Knight to kill the scouts off it. So that kind of side starts crumbling. The Death Company squad that came over and didn't kill the Dread Knight, I can obviously then disengage. I've got 2 other Dread Knights next to them. So it ends up being, I basically take that unit down to 7, I think. Sorry, I kill 7. So there's 3 and Grimaldus, is it? Lamartis, thank you. So that unit's not that scary anymore because that's my AOC target. And then I roll kind of badly on my Redeemer. He rolls a double 1 for his shots. The 3rd Redeemer going into the other 10-man Death Company squad that's charged the Land Raider. But I've got like 2 Dread Knights into them and a Land Raider. And I think I drop like 8 of those as well. So it ends up being, I think I got like double 1 on the shots, but 7 of them wounded. And then he rolled like trash. So actually he's committed, but I've basically rinsed all his squads from here. So he kills a couple of little things extra.
If you underkill that list, you basically fail that stat check. The club back for Marines bodies is just out of this fucking planet.
Yeah.
I think for most bodies, in all fairness.
Yeah, so this list is very good at killing Marines. And obviously with things like AOC, which I know he vexed and things, which makes it more difficult. There's kind of a couple of little things that happened as well. He went for, like, it would have been quite a few points on cards. What ends up happening is he moves his assassin over, who would have got him, I think, 8 points on cards. I'm like, well, I can't fuck that. So I overwatch it, kills him with a Dread Knight. It's kind of lucky. It can happen, but that was big. The other main thing is his Lancers just rolled pretty poorly. I think they did 20 wounds total. That was
Lancers are bad. That's why.
Lancers are the profile that is known to roll 2s, rolling for 2s on hits.
Yes, basically that is into what is happening. So the way the game went was, I think we both scored 38 on secondaries, but he got 2 points, 2 points, 0 points, 0 points for primary. I got 2 points, 0 points, 0 points, 18 points.
Oh.
So
that's
basically,
the
13-7 is literally that 16 points at the end.
Holy shit! Oof.
So
Yikes.
that's
Which, by the way, reminds me of 2 things about previous rounds that I would like to add. I think the guard matchup, even though I played it badly, the one on stream, there was one thing that I didn't account for in the specific mission, and that is priority targets. You usually die by the end of the game when playing into guard. So that changes the estimation in my opinion, from like a confident draw into a small loss just based on that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because you are denying the primary, but he will get the primary.
Priority target is always rough against guard, to be honest. I think most
You
armies just die unless you can actually fucking kill the guard, which is
that 15 at the end is rough because God will have like 3 casket alive and you're like, cool, that's 6 OC. And it's like,
exactly.
Yeah.
And you most certainly have basically nothing left by this point.
Yeah. Very rare.
Speaking of having nothing left by the end of the game.
All game.
This motherfucking thing happened.
Oh god, that was so violent.
I just wanna
For you that was
mention
violent. For me that was fucking Tuesday, bro.
I want to mention one thing. Nathan mentioned Sanguinor. In my game against Blood Angels, I charged with a Penitent Engine into 5 scouts, got heroically intervened by Sanguinor. He dealt me perfect 4 wounds, so I get +1 to hit, +1 to wound, and I just smashed him.
Nice.
I thought it was going to be a missionary story. Fuck, you ruined it.
But yeah.
But the missionary.
No, to be fair, he...
No. After getting
he got lucky.
dying,
The Sanguinor lived on 1 wound.
After finally dying in that first game, he jumped into the engine.
Ah, okay.
That was just the same guy. I'm pretty sure. Right, so
Jesus,
this
take
game,
the wheel.
I will just tell my story first because it's gonna be fucking simple for you. I put everything on the line. I misdeploy one because the Alpine boards combined with this mission means two things. The middle is completely closed. There is no line of sight anywhere. There is just two huge ruins that's basically 24 inches across total.
Yep.
Connected in the middle. Nothing can see through that. And there's like a gap that we've checked so already kinds of fits through, but also like a rhino can get through this, but it's still a pretty tight spot to be. There's no objective there either. The two objectives that are actually on the table are kind of in the open, but with very weird angles to them.
Yeah.
Basically, there is definitely no way you are shooting across the board not visibly.
No.
No, you can shoot only the objectives. Basically.
Exactly. You can shoot onto the objective itself, but from a pretty tight angle anyway. So I misdeployed my rhino and my drone because the ruins in the deployment zone are also actually squishing the deployments like towards the middle, and my army is all fucking vehicles.
Yeah, you put a
so
lot.
Yeah, exactly. So what I need to do is basically try to fit all of those vehicles on the very tight spot in the middle with away of the objectives. Like I cannot go straight to the objectives. I need to go from the middle to the objectives. I misdeployed my drone and my rhino, which meant I needed I go first. I draw very good because that was like cleanse.
Yep, you got a 10 in your turn 1. You got 5 and 5.
Exactly, cleanse and something else.
I think it's cleanse and secure.
Like cleanse and extend, something like that.
Yeah.
I've got Nurglings in one objective, which is cool, but they cannot control, so they cannot cleanse one themselves. So I need to put something on the objective to start the game up. I would prefer it to be a drone. I misdeployed, as I've said, so the drone needs 4 to advance. I roll a 1. It doesn't make it there. And then I have a decision into, do I want to reroll that 4 up? Or do I forget about it? I save the CP and basically do it with a rhino going 12 and just being on the objective. But me being on the objective basically means that squad is pretty much getting rinsed. So I open the game kind of aggressively, right? I would much prefer for the initial wave to be just drones, some fucking chaff, cultists, etc.
Right? Rather than any real assets, yeah.
Exactly. I decided against throwing that 4 up because it's a 4 up. If it were a 3 up, maybe a 2 up, I think take it, but it being a 4 up, I don't think it was worth it. Maybe it was still unresolved. It was a decision point that I had to make because I misdeployed basically. So I took that mistake, throw down the rhino, and said, let's fucking open this game up, right? Because what's going to happen is that rhino is going to explode from Kasserkin, ATC, anything, and then the whole artillery piece is going to just rain down on Plague Marines constantly, and every time this happens, like it's just going to keep happening. And this is basically the game. Me putting stuff on objectives in rhinos, Nas popping them, me probably dying on those objectives. Exactly. Yeah. Trying to keep them alive with like fucking bullshit. Soul Grinder stays 3 turns in the middle fighting some Bullgrin. I finally decide to leave that fight after legitimately, I think, 3 turns or something of getting punched.
Yeah, he had 2 wins left, and I can't remember because the 10 before.
Oh, by the way, the fucking Meltamines. The fucking Meltamines.
By the way, they were consistent. They consistently did nothing for me the event, by the way. Just like ones, like consistently.
Yeah, the first 2 Meltamines Nasus Kasserkin throw out, 2 1s, and I'm like, ace. Awesome. Fucking average. Cool, yo. That is way better than expected. I'm taking that.
Yeah. Fucking stupid.
Sorry. So by the end of the game, I'm left with basically nothing, and Lars is left with some chaff he resurrected, and like a tank commander. I know I killed the tank commander with something.
You killed a tank with the grenades, and
There's nothing fucking left.
You had your brigand. You had your brigand. You know that.
I did have my brigand, which left scoring me the last primary, which was crucial. And
Yeah,
Nas
and
making
you're-
an 8-inch charge to score
uh,
basically a 2-point swing, right? Because I
yeah,
had a
because I already
12-8
had the
on the board.
primary. Yeah,
Yeah, I had a 12 on the 8 on the board. You need to make an energy charge with the Leontis unit onto my objective, scoring you behind enemy lines,
and Storm.
storm hostile, and then 6 from primary from holding my
Yeah.
objective. And the game ends in 10-10, and we fucking hug it out then. So,
Yeah.
anything else you want to add from your side? Except because that's basically my game plan against guard. I
Yeah,
put
so-
on the objective and die.
Yes, which I think is the way like it goes, and that was the way that I had it in my head that it would go. The way I have it in my head is that I should get 12 points out of this, which was again I counted it up off like and I was thinking about it, it's like if that brigand dies, you don't get that 5 primary, which is 11-9, and then you also don't kill those Kassakin in the backfield, which then means they go into your backfield, and I still hold that objective there. So what ends up getting is it ends up being that 12-8 that I had in mind. But for me, yeah, the issue that I had with Midas is that the Bulgarian on nice here. However, it's not. I'm not getting a big win vs 40 Plague Marines because I don't have the right units in my list for it. Like for example, a second tank commander here is significantly better, in my opinion, vs the Death Guard, because Plague Marines hate plasma cannons
100%.
attached to them. There's no feel, no pain. The toughness matters a little, but not really too much. But for example, like Skark's list, when Skark won 16-4, I was like, yeah, that's kind of what I expected because that extra Basilisk and Tank Commander adds a significant amount more compared to 6 more Bulgren and 10 Kassakin, which is essentially what I had in that matchup, which makes it a better matchup for the guard in that aspect. I think the game pretty much played out kind of the way I was expecting. I was like, you're gonna Overwatch. I'm just gonna do defensive buffs with Kassakin because they're not really there to shoot. They're there to contest the objective and like have free models and tie something up, and to bait out your Overwatchers against them, and just mainly just to bait out CP so that you Overwatch, hope you kill them. Realistically, there's 10 of them. They've got there on a free up.
Yeah.
So, what in my head is because of the way you had deployed, that I was actually thinking mainly there. I mean, you kind of blocked it semi, but not really with the Nurglings. Was that if I'm able to go first, I'm actually able to scout with the Kaskin around, then extra move, then I'm able to actually charge those Nurglings there with some Bulgrin onto the middle objective, just on that like middle object. Oh, sorry, like that side objective there because that's where they were roughly. And also charge with those Kassakin, block myself out of the Bulgrin, and then so like I only have to base with a few models and have those models that I've got there just move block the Bulgrin, so that you can't actually you can charge onto the point, but you can't really move onto the point realistically with anything unless you charge onto it. And so I've got 6 Bulgrin on that objective, with Kaskin screening you out from getting onto that objective, and on the other flank doing the same thing but with the Catachans. So essentially, I've got like a kind of scuffed screen, but most of your vehicles were there, so it was fine. It's kind of a narrow gateway, and on the other side, I just have the Catachans that are just move blocking you there, and I have 6 Bulgin on that objective as well. Because the thinking was to move block you with that 20-man line essentially. Have the Bulgin where they can't be essentially charged because most of your damage was in melee, and go for the early primary that way. That was the thing behind it.
Yeah.
On the right side,
I think it might have worked. My counterpoint, especially after playing and talking with Skark about this matchup, don't you think you have spreading your Bulgrin into just literally going opposite directions and then one squad going into the middle into the Soul Grinder instead of holding at least 2 Bulgrin units together on one side? I think that changes the matchup significantly.
Yeah,
Because
I
what
kind of
Skark has done against me, and I think this is the perfect play against the Death Guard, because Death Guards is still a slow bitch's army. I can kill the Bulgarian squad pretty okay. I need to do it with 10 PEMs, just shoot them, charge them, and they usually die. Unless you roll like a fucking crazy man. But this is usually what happens. The problem with that plan, if you have just another Bulgarian squad right behind the ruin after those first ones, I get clapped back in melee. Like, legitimately, those motherfuckers kill Death Guard like it's nothing. Because I'm still taking 4-ups, and every failed save
is a dead guy.
slaps me. Exactly. So unless I have 2 CPs, which I wouldn't have, I would need to save it. It's never going to be safe for me to use those 10 Plague Marines to remove Bulgrin, because I will just lose another squad to Bulgrin instead of you having to shoot it consistently with artillery once and again and again and again.
Yes. So I mean, I kind of realized it after I was like 2 turns. Like, well, to be fair, like I think it was not after the first turn of combat, but going into the second turn. Well, second combat activation with your guy. I was like, damn, I really charged that soul grinder myself. I was like,
By the way, I was very surprised you'd do that, because I was like, the only thing the soul grinder does here, especially on this map, is just fucking go into Bulgrin and bother them for 3 rounds or something, and I'm fucking fine there.
Yeah,
that is awesome. I have I'm just buying time here. It's all I want to do.
I realized it afterwards.
And then you're charging the fucking guys into the Surrender yourself, and I'm like, I guess I don't tank shot, but hey, one more CP.
Want to know what the thinking there was? Like the thinking there was like, I'm going to, and this is where the Meltermine failing also fucking annoyed me. I was like, you know what? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move this Cascan of a Meltermine, because I was within 3 of the Soul Grinder.
Mm-hmm.
I end up I end up doing fucking fuck all, because I would have won. But I wanted to move that Cascan there and
Meltermine
for yeah. I no, because you have to do the Meltermine first, and then is that right?
Start with grenades first. Yeah.
No, grenade is because Meltermine has to be at the start of the phase.
First,
yeah. You basically, what you did is charge the Bulgrin in, surrounded the grinder, then charge the Kins, so that one guy with the Meltermine just could get in within 3 inches of a Rhino.
But what I should have done is I should have, and this was the thinking for moving the Meltermine there, where like in the first place I was like, in my head I was like, all right, I'm gonna charge this Soul Grinder with Bulgrin. I'm gonna be tagged in combat for at least a turn, but I'm gonna grenade strat him, and then I'm going to Meltermine him. So I should do 7 damage there. Then I should do another like 6 damage in combat. Then I should kill him in your fight phase. Was my thinking, and then that plan went out the window. And I remember why it went out the window is because on the other side, when I wanted that Meltermine to go off, because I really needed to kill that Rhino.
Did not happen.
Yeah, like the thing is that Rhino dying was like priority number 1. Otherwise, there's fucking 10 Plague Marines right there. So I think the moment that Meltermine failed, I was like, okay.
So that plan didn't work. I should still do it.
Yeah. So I was just like, all right.
That was a fucking scuffed game, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
By the way, I love that we basically finished the last, and like, man, he's fucking running around. All right, Nassim, are you scoring a point? And I'm like, I think he's scoring a point, guys. I think we can fucking chill over here. I think you've got it, boys.
The best part was when Ines came over. I was like, yeah, I need you to push. And then I just look at you, and I look down. I'm just like, he's got 10 Plague Marines on objective, another 10 on another objective. This is his army. It's like,
like, what the fuck are we doing here?
What more?
My favorite part was Manny coming over to Josh, like, can you actually bring out a high score from this one? And I'm like, brother, like,
might be possible.
Read the table.
Just fucking stop it. It's
literally
bad.
bullying.
Like, you don't have to rub it in. Like,
oh, that was funny.
So we got fucking wrecked this time. I think we.
Can I talk about my matchup? because I
Is
think
it anything exciting about this matchup at all?
He got
I've
fucked.
done few things that didn't work or worried that I was kind of proud of myself. First of all, I didn't end up killing any of the race squads because this matchup can sometimes be like that.
Sorry.
And in the meantime, I lost my whole army, which is great. But I went assassinate homers, and at the end of the game, I got to kill 3 characters, and I was failing one save on Celestine away of killing another character, because then she would have resurrected and flew over to kill something else. But I passed all the saves. Too bad. And I still couldn't use Miracle Dice to die, just so you know. But first turn, as I had to go first on fucking Vital Ground,
Scuffed.
where 2 objectives are in the middle, I cannot shoot him. Everything dies. I was like, cool. So what if I do not expose any of my units? So you cannot do overwhelming force or no prisoners if you get them turn 1.
Got them turn 1.
So he got them turn 1. Turn 2, I'm like, okay, at this point you push the rage.
Genius.
What can I do so you cannot do any missions? I'm like, so if I put this missionary in this rhino in the middle board, you cannot kill the rhino and missionary, so you cannot get area denial, right? And he's like, yeah, that's true. So I did just that. And he got area denial turn 2. But then in the last turns, he got capture enemy outpost and all of that shit, so it didn't fucking matter. The actual
Big
turn
brain
5
your
when he
fucking
got...
way into a 2-point score. Good job, bro.
So, the last turn when he actually got to hold my home objective, he got capture enemy outpost, so all my hard work didn't work. Yeah, it's not a great matchup, I must say. Like, if the Necron list has Ktans, it's slightly better. But I made some small mistakes. I think I could have went for like 3-4 points. Which is
4 would be double, so that's good.
Yeah, true. Surely it would have meant that we won the game, right? The round. Surely it was all down to
You
me
didn't
fucking up
fucking
against
know
Joe.
that. Don't fucking excuse yourself.
Yeah.
Funny. Great.
I also killed 3 Canoptic Scarab Swarms that were holding his objective, so I denied him some primary this game. I denied 2 primary with Exorcist, killing 3 Scarabs.
Hey.
I was looking for any ways to fucking deny points this game. I was clutching the straws so bad. Like, I baited out Low Knob to shoot Exorcist into 3 Scarabs on home objective. Like, I was
Jesus
so...
Christ.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
That is so scuffed.
Oh, that's so funny.
And like, after turn 1, Josh was also like very precise about making sure that none of my models can get into his deployment zone for
that was fucking hilarious.
homers. I was like, please stop. Like, I will not do this. Like, if you leave a spot, I will tell you. Just stop. And he would like fix models, use my 3-inch measures, 9-inch measures.
Yeah. Just literally fucking measuring his deployment zone, screening it out to a millimeter. Meanwhile, Typhus's fucking asshole is getting absolutely demolished for 4 hours straight.
Josh is precise. He likes things the way he likes it.
I even found one way to get 4 points from homers this game, which was get that rhino into mid-board, die in the mid-board in melee, so at the end of melee, my
guys outside of combat
missionary would disembark, and then I would start the movement in a way that I cannot get overwatched, so I can advance into his deployment zone, die in overwatch in his deployment zone at the end of my movement, resurrect at the end of the phase, and do homers in his deployment zone. I was like trying to figure out. But
I'm going to ask you something, Typhus. Why haven't you played a Gambit?
Yeah, you fool. What are you doing?
Have you scored any fucking primary?
Yeah, I absolutely should have.
Literally
No, the
throw in
corners
the
in your
game.
Yeah, I needed to roll 2 6s. Yeah, that's true.
Literally,
Actually,
could have
yes.
fucking
Double
won us
six.
the round.
I wanna see Josh's face if I actually pulled that off.
See?
Fuck.
That
You
has
fucking
actually happened to
threw.
Josh.
Yeah, I know.
I
Ed did it.
redact my previous statement about us throwing the
No, I just
the
thrown.
pairings.
That's
I
absolutely
think
correct.
that's on Typhus right now for not
I
playing the
absolutely
gambit.
have thrown. Yes.
100%. We have it on tape now.
No,
Glad
it's
settled.
absolutely fucking correct. I scored 4 points from primary this game. It was lovely.
Yep.
4 points. Fucking me. Fuck.
So did Innes in fairness.
Oof.
That's what it is.
Big oof.
Yikes.
And then I see on a stream Valentin lose into sisters. And I'm like getting honorism after honorism, and my heart cannot take it.
I know.
Please stop.
See, clearly
Anyway.
you're just wrong, and it's favored for sisters.
I asked some of the sisters players to give me coaching how to play this matchup because I cannot find a way.
Ask Tanker. He's fucking done it.
Yeah,
He can do it again.
Yeah,
The French.
They've got the
Lamar
sauce.
also. I don't know, man.
All right, we are running late, gentlemen, and I am sick of you as well, of course, but mainly just out of being
Sick.
We will skip the rust rounds. I will just talk about my fucking asshole being kicked in by Skark, but I've mentioned this previously. He went first. He rolled really well for his artillery shots, and I
We already did
position.
that round, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. It's Poland. You guys just fucking rolled through the Swiss
Swiss national team, pretty much.
Swish, yeah.
with the prospects probably on there, because I've heard they were testing some people out. Meaning, you took the first place at the tournament, having the bling, the golden rings, and actually having England win something in Europe for the first time in ages. Incredible.
Since
achievement.
2019, actually.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Which is basically an age, I think.
Can't start playing 40k. Clearly.
So congrats for that. Like, legitimately, that was a pleasure playing you. Especially Nassim. Our guest, it was lovely.
It was great fun.
We are currently 1-1-0, right? Because sorry. You still have not won against me. Fuck you.
True. 1-1-0. Yes, true.
No, but in all fairness, the event was super lovely.
Yeah.
And all the before party on Friday, the after party on Saturday, and the after party on Sunday. Oh my god. No, I don't think we should get into those details too much. If anything, I think it should be Nathan who was a bystander of the whole fucking process.
I wasn't even there. I just was receiving disturbing amounts of photos of Nassim and Typhus being very intimate with each
Nathan,
other.
We kissed, by the
Do
way.
you
We
want to
kissed
give a quick
on the lip.
rundown? What? Yes, actually. Yeah.
We
Anyway.
kissed on the lips. Generally, it was great.
I will give a very quick. So, we had just started drinking, so it wasn't even that far along the evening.
Fucking hell. Yeah.
Naz is completely awful at bargaining, and I don't even know how the conversation started, but it ended up being we talked about mutton chops, which for those who don't know, it's where you just have the beard come down to like what Naz has right now, and you shave off all the middle part.
Mm-hmm.
So, Typhus, in his typical Typhus trolley fashion, has decided that everybody has a price, and Naz is a bit of a prostitute. So what ends up happening is, I think it starts a little bit with Typhus says, "How much?" And Naz goes, "Don't be stupid." Starts laughing, starts thinking about it, and then goes,
no. Oh no.
well, I wouldn't do it for anything like 100 euros. Like somehow that's a silly number to bring out. And Typhus goes, okay. So Naz is like, well, hang on. He has a second thought about it, and he's like, I know how to really bargain. 250 euros. Typhus.
Doesn't say word. Just goes to his room.
0.3 of a millisecond, gets up out of his chair and disappears. And we're like, okay, it's on.
I was thinking, fuck. I was like,
So he comes down with what can only be described as a prison razor,
yep.
which might as well have been a biro
Oh.
with a razor blade on it.
Oh god. God.
Thankfully, Josie bails him out and actually has the electric shaver. But it's not. It's the like 3-wheel one, so it's not like great for cutting longer hairs. But it's got like a small strimmer attachment on the back of it. Ensues a 20-minute scuffed version of cutting Naz's hair, including half a broken plastic cup used as the liner.
Fucking
to
that.
make the
Holy
line straight.
shit!
That's probably one of the best parts. The fact that he just in person just cuts up in half like perfectly. He just rips it. You didn't even measure it. You just ripped it
Nope.
and it was in half, and you're just like pucker your lips, just look dead in the eyes.
Naz fighting back tears bravely, and I'll give as much as some people. Naz talks a lot of shit on the internet. He is a man of his word. If he says he's going to do something, he will actually do something, which I will give you credit for. You're a fucking
Way.
idiot, but I will give you credit for it. So,
I mean, there he
Yes.
is.
so now
Yeah.
we have somehow this face got even worse, and we have this kind of haircut on him now, which I believe he has to keep till this weekend. for
Yes, until
Oxford.
Oxford. I am very excited to level it out. I have had
Yeah.
to meet 2 clients and go on a day and a half with this. It's worked, but
Can I just say, like, what?
My favorite part about all of this were like some random people coming back from bars because we were doing it outside, just in front of the fucking living campus, and then random people were just coming over and seeing this.
This
oh,
is the same person. Like
No.
the fucking
No.
no.
There's a
Grimsby.
look up
Grimsby.
Grimsby, the movie.
Grimsby.
Yeah.
GRIM. Fuck.
Inshallah.
BY.
Holy fucking shit!
Did you not see? Did you not see the meme that I put into Enter the Matrix?
Oh,
we have
I
a
No,
code
he
brown.
saw. I sent him those.
Oh, we have a code brown.
We do have a code brown. Holy.
Yeah.
The difference is magnificent, I'm gonna be honest.
What do you mean different?
But
I
you're
don't-
not sharing it, by the way. You're
Give
showing
me a
John
fucking
Brown.
second. I'm looking up a good picture.
But
That's
yes.
like, do it now.
So a heads up for everybody coming to the WTC when it is in Austria. There is fuck all to do except shave your friends. So make sure you bring a good
What a
razor.
take. What a
Um,
take.
Yeah. And that was
Yeah, and-
unfortunately I could have come fourth, not won anything. That was the highlight.
It's the man. He's the fucking same. It's wonderful.
What's it? I mean,
Holy
There you
fuck.
Yeah.
He's
I
perfect.
must say the biggest problem for Nas, actually, this whole situation was like in the middle of it, he wanted to ask me, like, okay, so just tell me how much I fucked up. Like, what was your price?
oh yeah, God, I fucking regret it. I regret knowing that.
And then like I was like, probably with me alone, probably somewhere like 2,000 euros. If Brian was here, maybe a little bit more.
Cashed
But
out
I
at
wanna
250.
But I just want to add, I want to be very thankful to Josie and Sam
Yeah,
from Try Hard War Gaming. They were part of this happening, and
Sam
you
bailed you
created
out.
the yeah. They
Sam bailed you out.
support me. So well, I must say, in terms of like the socializing, this event was great. I was in such bad state every day. It was lovely.
Oh mate,
Yeah.
you in that fucking onesie suit, day one. Oh, I've never been more attracted to a man before.
I couldn't go anywhere near you. I'd be bricked up all day.
Yeah,
It
he
horrific.
was kicked up. as well.
Imagine my fucking face when I entered my room on Friday and what welcomed me was Typhus in his fucking onesie thing
Mankini.
of destruction
It was
with
great.
a fucking pillow with some rabbits on it, with the straight face, saying to me, "We're gonna fuck tonight." What am I supposed to do?
You're supposed
I
to
think
definitely
that's-
celebrate.
That sounds like the start of a Netflix documentary.
That
pretty
was
bad, that.
traumatizing, to be honest. I will never now expel that from my mind ever again.
Good. That's
All
what
right.
next like.
Quickly, let's do some show questions before we head off.
Yes.
Because this, as always, has turned into the most ridiculous fucking thing ever.
I've got them, boys. Let me
You do
just
them then.
pause.
I'm starting to lose.
I'm
my voice.
gonna
I can
be-
feel it.
Nathan, read this one out.
Any tips for late pivots and matrices? Nath had a good support from Manny, presumably, but how would you typically manage? So there's a long answer and a short answer. Short answer is it's a skill issue. I generally have been very good at jumping onto armies very last minute. I am a little bit one of those players. I can pick up quite a lot of different things. But yeah, like it's this. I wouldn't be able to jump onto any list. Some lists do take a lot of skill. Like I can't jump onto Thousand Suns. I probably couldn't jump onto that Eldar list. But say this Grey Knight list, it's pretty meat and potatoes. It is a bit stat checky. Just don't let your whole army get charged. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. So I think this was particularly more just this army was okay to drop onto. I think anybody with a couple of games can get the gist of this list. But yeah, don't have a Manny on your team who overthinks and then changes everything last second.
To be honest, I'm gonna just say that I am so happy for our team this year. We were so nice. Like Brian only considered 5 armies during the preparation process, and we didn't switch it last fucking minute. It was amazing, because all we did basically was fucking overthink everything every time. We were just jumping ideas. If I try to find it quickly. You go on with the questions. I'm gonna try to find one thing. Actually,
Typhus, you missed out the first question.
we have answered that question. The question is from Nassim to Nassim. Why is Nassim so sexy? We have discussed it at length, I believe.
I think
Are
we
you
have
not
it on
satisfied?
screen. I think we have it on screen. Okay, so how much value did the Redeemers add to the GK list over the Canis variant? If this event was full WTC, would that affected list design?
So full
I think it's for you,
WTC,
Nathan.
the Redeemers actually moved better on actual WTC tables. This terrain was actually somewhat disadvantageous in sometimes for the Redeemers because there was quite a few 5.5-inch gaps. Land Raiders are 5.8, so they can't necessarily get through certain things unless it's a low standing wall, which you can slowly climb over. It costs like 5 inches in movement. The Redeemers are predominantly there more for, say, the combat matchups that you might face in 5s, such as Blood Angels, Custodes, World Eaters. They are beneficial against Necrons. They're beneficial against Sisters. They're usually beneficial against Death Guard. So I think in a 5, they're definitely more beneficial. I haven't actually played the Canis version yet. I'm not a huge fan of the Librarians. I think they're a little bit... They open up some win cons for certain armies. Canis is great, can do a lot of damage, but he usually has to do a lot of damage quite up close and personal. His gun is a bit average sometimes when it shoots. It either does everything or nothing. And effectively, it's T12 with a 3+ save. You can't rotate it, so it's a 5-up invuln. Some armies can just drag it down. So, like, into certain matchups, it's not as reliable. From what I know, but I haven't necessarily used it.
That was our expectation of what's going to happen with the fucking team, because this is exactly what happened last year to the fucking point.
Oh,
Brian
God. Oh,
being fucking, let's go, orcs, that's so fine. Him filling up matrices for 10 billion armies, thinking guard, T-Suns, fucking around, and then just taking orcs. We ended this trip over here at Tisans, which was amazing, by the way. Great choice of army.
Just before the trip up, that Oculus would not have been good.
It
That was-
really
that
would
was-
not. Holy.
Free pressure list and a 5-man.
Yeah, too much. But yeah, I prefer the Redeemers personally.
Demon Strong.
I 100% agree, by the way. I think they make
I think they're
Matrix,
really good.
especially Matrix, looks way better with them.
I agree with that. So, Pumba, how do you best utilize coaches if they don't have much prior teams experience?
For anything first thing, if they don't have much prior team experience, the bare minimum you can utilize them for is anything that includes logistics of the event. You would be surprised how much that helps everybody involved. If they just have someone to grab water from, fucking rent hotels, the more your players spend on, the more time they spend
game.
on preparation and fucking about and grabbing water and not thinking about the game, the actually worse they played. It's I think pretty straightforward. And with the bare minimum, I think what you can do is try to, during the rounds, if they cannot assess the game state themselves because they don't have the required experience, I think the bare minimum that a coach can do is have a piece of paper with the scores, expected scores written on them from 20 to 0, maybe 2 points fucking increments, and just ask every player every 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes, what is their expected score by just fucking pointing to the expected results and putting then that information to the captain, who then makes choices instead of that coach, right? So you don't really require much experience in doing that, but it still makes the communication between the players during the round way better, and the decision making especially is way better, because I saw Manny just running between those tables like a madman every single round, playing those fucking 20 units. It was crazy.
And I would add one more thing. With the previous events like Alpine and Eurotrash, without, to be fair, at Eurotrash, we had a coach, but there was a problem that sometimes you still needed when you were the last to start the game and you had only 1 hour 20. How I see this, if at WTC you started the game with 1 hour 40, 1 hour 45 per player, maybe even more, depending on the situation, I find that you can burn even first 5-10 minutes of the clock if you decide before the game starts to figure out your game plan, which I found Alpine or Eurotrash that I didn't have time for that and I just needed to go on the fly. Which sometimes it's that one position of Pumba mentioned Plague Drone, or you, Nassim, talking about the second Bulgarian squad. This is something that if you try and think for 5-10 minutes how you would approach. I think my whole sister's game on the stream, if I had 5-10 minutes to actually think how I want to deploy, it would have been significantly better. And this is something that coaches allow players to do, that you do not have to be preoccupied that you have to carry your models. You can just stand over the board, measure line of sights, and figure out how you want to do stuff. And
it allows you more time to think about the game. Basically.
Stuff like setting up the terrain as well is what I find is helpful, because then, if I'm not going around, I have to set up the terrain. All right, cool. Because now I've set up the terrain, I'm all right, now stop even.
And then you have grab models, then you have start to play the game.
Basically, you are constantly. You don't have this breather, this time to approach the game and think about
it's
what the fuck
next
you
thing,
would
next thing.
You just need to keep doing stuff to make time.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt. I lost quite a bit of points over the weekend, that I just couldn't just be more laid back. Now, question for Nas. Nas, what's your dream detachment ability for guard, and how many Bulgrin is enough Bulgrin?
God, dream detachment, fucking something that isn't lethal hits when you're fucking stationary. Fucking shit.
Miracle dice?
No, you know what?
Why would you say that? Holy fuck. Oh my god. I'm just sick thinking about that.
There's two things I would love as guard. One is the Eldar built-in rerolls. It's that I have with the entire army. That'd be great.
Would you fucking stop?
I would love to see Bulgrin with Phantasm.
I refuse
Okay,
to.
now
You know what?
let's go back to being serious.
So if I had to pick a detachment, I would say kind of similar to what they had in like the eighth codex, where it was like what the catch gave you for the vehicles, which is you reroll the amount of shots on your random shot count. Because the thing that I find with Guard, and it's one of their weaknesses, and I like it happened to me when I was playing on stream v Sir William, was you kind of are at the mercy of how many shots you roll. Like you have a lot of you have a lot of it. You have a lot of high quality, good damage shots, etc. However, it's all random. There's a limited amount of re-rolls because the only things that in your army that are able to give re-rolls is when I get re-rolls is you Scout Sentinel that targets something. Yeah, gives your army re-roll once. You have the Manticore, it's only a 5-man or more, so it doesn't happen to these vehicles. And the other one is the Luminos battle tanks, which gets reroll once to hit or 4 hit rerolls if you're on an objective. Those are the only things that have rerolls. Apart from that, there's no real way to have rerolls, and you're also at the mercy of random shot count, which doesn't really help too much. So anything to, I guess, being able
Casino
to.
guns. Casino guns. Fucking TC's shooting. Casino
God.
gun.
Yeah, it's like, how many shots am I going to roll? If I see that 6 there, what I'm shooting at is fucking dead. Roll a 1.
Nothing happens.
Just. But yeah, so just being able to just like have a reroll on one weapon or reroll 1 dice per weapon that you have, like they had before, would be great. And also, you always max Borgren. You just take the thick boys. All right, go thick or go home. Like this.
That's how you assembled your team around yourself.
Exactly. It's great. That back seat, by the way, but for the entire journey, from
Because you rented one car, right?
Leoben to Vienna, driving anywhere. All I had was Alex on my right, and then either Manny or Nathan on my left, and I was in the middle.
Nice. Legit.
To be fair, I was
Memory flash.
Listen, I was very. The left side
Comfy.
was always cushiony. Right.
Comfy.
It's very cushiony. It was great.
By the way, 12 Bulgarian is enough if you want a serious answer from not Nassim.
I like 18. Redundancy.
They are fine. They are absolutely fine.
Redundancy.
Pending points, of course, but what does a post Codex Tau list look like in an 8-man teams group, and what role does it play? I'm likely going to be playing them in an upcoming team's tourney. Okay, Nassim, you seem like you know what to do.
Montka and Breachers for
Breachers.
days.
Some more breaches, and don't forget those breaches.
Bro, those Breachers are...
Yeah, they are so pushed.
They are just a menace to society.
Like, what if we just gave them flat 6 to their threat range? Just what if we just did that? What if we just also get, I don't know, maybe the AP1, it's a bit low. Extra AP. Oh, they're not an objective. It's fine. Reroll.
Just reroll. They are so pushed right now in this fucking codex, and you definitely, I think you play Montka just exclusively, right? That detachment, like the ability is okay, but the fucking stratagems and the enhancements are out of this planet.
Fucking crap. I'm sorry, but I'll give these 2 units scout. Oh, by the way, extra OC for my entire army on your objective.
Yeah, that is Montka, Breachers, some probably you take at least 1 unit of the Melta Crisis, whatever they are called.
Oh, the Sunforge.
Exactly. You still bring some chaff, you still bring Tetras. You are not so reliant on them right now, but they are still good. You might consider stealth suits. What is their role? In 2 weeks, possibly, maybe we are getting new meta completely. So for me, it's like very hard for them to fit in the current meta, where I know like it is basically leaving us.
Bye.
I think they right now, if I would like very broadly estimate the pairings, I think they would be good into Necrons because Breachers. Um,
Yeah, Necron.
what else?
I
I
don't
think they
know.
would be very good into things that Tau have been good. Because those kind of breacher teams lists that don't utilize the 6-man crisis suits, you've got some Riptides on the bag. Those lists have been kind of playing around still. And I
Yeah,
think
I
this
know
is
Kyle's
the
been
same
doing well with
idea,
them as
but they
well.
just got way more powerful right now.
Yeah, I mean, just the army just got significantly faster, and I still found this to be true to this day. Is that like you can sometimes just kill your opponent in the first 3 turns, and now this is like incentivizing you to be like, hey, here's all your good strats and extra AP, and here's fucking lethal hits on your entire army. Go nuts.
This is a very UKTC thing to say, I'm not gonna lie.
Well, what can I say?
This is
That's why we're
Nas
here.
peak UKTC Nas. Bring some fucking Riptides and planes and just fucking finish the game in 40 minutes.
It's a bit long. Bit long. I still remember when I played side by Anthony. Anthony rolled off to see who went first and second. My game was finished right by him. It was great.
Basically.
Finished deployment.
Is it worth
Okay.
practicing your worst matchup, or do you trust that you won't have to deal with it? Does it make a difference if you are on a team that can push, an army that can
Okay.
push?
I will, before answering this question, I think the major problem that I find sometimes is if you have an army designed to kill something, you do not get enough reps to kill that. And I think this is something that I saw few teams falter on, that you took an army that's supposed to counter and you just didn't have enough repetition to deliver. And this is a problem, especially if you were talking about like very premier army in a team comp, like say last year's GSC. I do not mean to shit talk too much on Mike Porter, but he didn't get as much reps, right? And sometimes from when I remember the scores, like he played armies that he just didn't have enough reps, and he should win higher if he had more reps. And this is something that I find that is one problem that you need to avoid in the team. Like I find that if you have someone that you know they will go for high scores, it's better for them to be the players who play the most. It is easier to play defensive and scrappy if you do not have as many games. It is harder to understand where are your thresholds of how aggressive you can be if you haven't played enough games of a specific matchup.
So I agree, but generally, from my perspective, as a general rule of thumb, I think it is, if you have a limited time, and everybody has a limited time always when practicing for an event, I think your time is spent best elsewhere. If we are talking just playing your worst matchup, because most of the time,
Anthony and Custodes.
Exactly. Anthony has not played, I think, a single game into Custodes this edition, which tells a lot because he has played like around 200 fucking games with that army, but he just refuses to fucking play against Custodes straight up because it's just not worth it, right?
No, it's a good matchup for what it is.
Yeah, for sure.
If you play all the Forge Fiends, yes.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, overall, my assumption would be, if you have a limited time practice, you should not bother with your absolutely worst matchup, and you would just rather avoid them. The only maybe difference would be if you are an army that is supposed to play everything. Say you are on a blunt army, and you legitimately need to expect to be able to take any army in the game.
Play fucking Josh.
God.
Something like that, right? If you are supposed to blunt the enemy, it was worth to put the preps into those also, so you can blunt them harder. But that's it.
For me,
actually blunt. Sorry.
Yeah, so for me, I think sometimes it doesn't hurt to throw at least one rep into certain things just to make sure your matrix is where it is. Say, for example, with the Grey Knights, I played the Thousand Suns knowing it's bad. It's a little bit going, is it 0 points? Is it 2 points? Or can I actually maybe scrap for 5? The truth is, it's probably 0 to 2, especially with certain tables, certain missions. So I think sometimes it's nice to play a single rep, because usually if the game's that bad, It's not a very long game. You can usually play 3 turns and have a rough idea of where you are. But yeah, otherwise than that, it's not the best use of your time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next question, Nathan. Any tips on the best armies to utilize the super L's?
What is a super L?
Yeah, what do you mean by the
The
super
double
Ls?
L's.
The double L's on the WTC tables.
Oh,
The fucking 2 connected
The one
L's.
like this?
yeah, the table
Oh.
which we all have a name for, but I'm not going to say on this podcast. Yeah,
This one.
so,
It's this
yeah,
one.
a certain symbol.
Those ones.
Yeah, it's that table.
He fucking gets it. Let's go.
Yeah. Anyway,
Oh yeah, time to get cancelled.
Let's actually not say it because that will get.
No.
Yeah, that's
You
what
keep
I'm
going,
saying.
Nathan.
Anyway,
you go on.
keep
Nassim,
going.
you shut the fuck up.
so that table it's down in the pack as like a medium table, but it's the weirdest table. It's very much
Just to be safe.
this kind of can be very good for certain armies who want to blunt certain things, because you can get to a point where you can literally hide your whole army on these tables sometimes. They have very poor line of sight, except for one of them, I think, where the objectives are vaguely in the open, even though it's a really heavy table, if I remember correctly. Armies to best utilize it. It's pretty good for staging, because you can usually deploy behind one of them, and then actually the big L is more into your deployment zone. Yeah,
You are
so
talking
like
about this, by the way.
yes, yeah,
Those are
So
the
this-
infamous super L's.
yes. I don't know. Best armies, probably combat armies, your world eaters, your custodes. Because say, for example, say this table 6 that we're looking at, that 9x9 effectively, you could hide a whole custode army in that, and it's probably got charge range to at least 3 of those objectives, or it can get to the big L above it to then attack your opponent's home objective with very few units that are really fast enough that you can get enough things to get round, say, that big double L to then shoot anything in that quarter, in that secondary staging point. So it ends up being a case of it's combat armies, realistically. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's infantry
Said that way
combat
quicker.
armies, I would say.
Yeah.
Because
fast
those tables, in my experience, split the battlefield basically in half every time you play on them. So if you are playing something that relies on your movement, and especially vehicle movement, those basically limit that to... You split the armies in half, almost. Because there is no way something that is on like one of those side objectives is just sprinting across. Like if something is over here, getting to here is going to take them realistically 3 fucking turns. Most of the
Yeah.
time.
I played Sean on exactly that table. It was great.
Those are, by the way, I actually like them quite a lot because they present completely different game than any other WTC
Yep.
table.
Agreed.
They
Sure.
play more akin of like GW tables maybe, but the ruins are still huge. But yeah, completely different play experience and play patterns sometimes develop on these than all the rest.
And assuming reasonable points, can Crude Detachment replace Endless Swarm as a defender? What would they need to have applies on high-level teams? Yes, Nas?
Yes.
No.
You shut your
Was
face.
Endless Swarm ever
I mean,
for
a defender? No.
Like,
I
ever?
I don't think it was a defender, but I think
It's more prey.
Crude Detachment is actually not too bad. Points winning.
Yeah, okay.
Not too bad.
It's never replacing Endless Swarm in that role. They don't fucking fly. They don't fire and fade.
You don't need to fly and fire and fade. You have
What do you mean?
200. Shut your face. You have 200 plus brute that revive, and then you have like 800 points of guns behind it. Where the fuck are your guns? If you say Exocrines and Mouse Raptors, I'm gonna slap you all the way from Poland. All right?
My
It's-
guns are named Arco Flags.
What's your guns? Fucking Riptide? It's basically an exocrine that's just have as
No.
a
A hammerhead.
Yeah. So It's not replacing Endless Swarm, guys. Like the Crude don't pick a they don't function the same way, even though you might think so, because there's a lot of them and they've got special rules and they can loan up and stuff, and you can revive them. They don't block the table in similar ways. Their bases are smaller, which also doesn't work the same as gargoyles do. Gargoyles are just busted, and this is why Endless Swarm is good. Crude will not function the same way because they don't move as fast, they don't fire on fate, and don't have similar bases and stuff. So I don't think this list actually plays in the similar way.
Yeah. And I'm going through any comments. Is there anything? Some questions.
One question from Joshua from our chat. Was the mission perk primary heavy? Just the missions. The missions, there was no kill more, for example. The missions required you to score primary by holding middle objectives, usually, is what it comes down to. Vital ground, you've had priority targets, which is like called supply drop. Missions that require you to hold middle objectives.
Basically, 2 of the 5 missions you got close to basically sweet fuck all for holding your back. Like one of them, you literally got 0 points for holding your backfield, and Vital, you pretty much got sweet fuck all for holding your backfield as well. So
exactly,
you were very much incentivized to hold the middle, which some armies don't do too well, and some armies do.
Yep. And I think that's it for questions.
How the fuck we always end up with like 2 hours or more?
We are not a consistent show, but we sure are consistently fucking late with everything we do. All right, bring us out, Typhus. Do some plugs first.
No.
All right, I will do some plugs then.
Some plugs.
Yes.
This has been
no, please, no. I expected something way worse.
No, God. Wait a second.
I'm fucking dying right here. Can't you? Let me leave. Let me go to sleep, boys.
No.
My voice is dying already. All right. This has been another episode of Enter the Matrix. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you in the next one. Please check out other shows on the networks, including the main show, which happened tomorrow, including Take All Commerce, including the newest one, which is Champions of 40K, run by Steve Joel, which I'm very grateful that he's come back. I love this show especially, and have listened to it throughout my 40K experience so far, so I'm very glad it's back. Check out our sponsors, Red Dragon CA, from all of your gaming needs, and Saltire Games from, I believe, UK, from all the measuring gauges, tokens, and such. Please make sure to check out our Patreon if you like the show. You can then ask questions that we will answer, probably, at least try to answer all of them. And you can also bother us by pinging us, or, for example, over here, Nassim will answer all of your guard related questions. He's also on that Discord. So if you want to bother any other people with your stuff and have them answered by some okay-ish guard players, let's call it that. Also, you can do
very
that.
Okay.
Middle of the pack, you could call them.
Consistent.
All right. I think I for sure have forgotten a lot of things, but I'm definitely super tired. So again, thank you so much, guys, for joining us for this one. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out, and see you at the next one. Goodbye.
Arrivederci.